today. I'm coming live and clear, and I want to see if I got anybody near. We're gonna see what we working with today. Um, we're gonna see what we dealing with today. Lot to talk about, lot to get into. So let's just take it and see what we gonna do. I am live and in color, coloring and live. So got some questions coming, and I'm welcoming people to come through. Let me get this question up. Uh, let's see. I know it's short term notice. We're gonna see. So I got that one already drawn up. Yeah, I want to talk about that statue. That was been a big topic of discussion. Who had the worst statue? I thought the Allen Iverson one was like they did the Gary Coleman, but this Dwayne Wade one looking like, what's up? Just came on. Glad you came on. Worst statue. I thought it's only fitting that I would go there because Iverson, D Wade is like, okay, this gonna be a good poll right here. Who had the worst statue? That's gonna be in tongue in cheek. It looked like California Love Max, the Mad Max Beyond Terrordrome, where Tupac and Dr. Dre, especially when Dre when they were in the desert. I was thinking, why he looking like Dr. Dre from California Love? Crack me up. But what's up with you? Congratulations on your W. Jacksonville was playing some good football. Y'all brought the best out of Jacksonville. Okay, what's up? What's happening? Welcome aboard, Gold Harsh. What's up? Okay. KC logo. Okay, what's up? They got lucky yesterday. If you're a KC fan, you didn't get lucky, but it's a typical Kansas City win. Beat the Raiders. It was a good. It's that goal line stance. That goal line stance. I got to tip my cap. You know what they say about two good quarterbacks? I think that Willis plays good, but Joe and Love is your starter. But Jacksonville came to play. That was the best game Jacksonville played that I've seen them play. So I was impressed though. We got a lot to talk about. We can talk about football. We can talk about basketball. We can talk about baseball. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of directions to go in. So it all depends on how. Or we can talk about this thing called the election, if you care. Yeah, we go about that. Talk about music. Whatever you want to talk about. Diddy. I think that y'all could be a problem in the playoffs. I still think Green Bay is that one team that see Philly looks like they could be the second best, but then after that, there's 3 and 4. So who's that team could fit that slot? So somebody gonna knock somebody out. Yeah, you know how smart the Cowboys are right about that. You saw that last night, right? I don't even know who that rookie is for the 49ers. Another Shanahan running back just going to town. I'm like, who's this cat? If you want to get 100 yards, get in the backfield against Dallas. They be having cats run all through them. You know what? If Jamal Lewis could still run, I bet you he could get 250 against them right now. If you could go find Jamal Lewis. But anyway, let's talk about the game. The two things that stood out with me yesterday. Guess what two games stood out? Obviously, Washington, Chicago. I did not see that happening. It is in his blood. His dad did. That's one thing his dad could do. They may not get the quarterback spot right, but they sure get the ground game right. Sure do. sure do. Cause that cat was hitting them holes against Dallas. I mean, I was like, whoa. And I guess they got talked to at halftime. Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? My uncle cousin was talking to him, and he kept going about Jameson. And I said, "Are you serious? Could you imagine somebody boasting in your ear? Watch out for Jameson." I'm like, because he told me he got a coworker that looked like Jameson Winston. I'm like, yeah, and I said, "Do you know who they got on that squad? They got Zappa from the 40 the Patriots as a quarterback, and they shot D Watts and the cat from UCLA." I said Jameson was like on the third string. He played out his mind yesterday. He balled well when he don't throw bad passes. He looked good yesterday. I see Baltimore is one of those teams, but they don't they always got games like that. That's the only reason why I'm not sold on them. That's hilarious. But Quiet is just kept. He gonna keep a job somewhere because they got the sorry excuse for teams. You know, like if you think about you know, let me turn this thing on. You think about what that mess happened in New England yesterday. I'm sure you saw that. Man, where your Aaron Rodgers fans at? I'm glad I don't have no Aaron Rodgers fans in here. Oh man, he looked good yesterday. Kelsey looked good. Yeah, they always win ugly, but that's part of being a champion. That's what the champs do. Yeah, when you lose to New England, I mean, like, oh god, Brissett came off and beat you. I was like, ooh. So I should not hear any more about Aaron Rodgers the rest of the year, because you do realize, right? They got to win 9 in a row. What's up? They are so far behind. They'd have to win a humongous amount of games. So, yes, Ted, I'm sure you saw my Anthony Davis video. I did the Anthony Davis video. I am really talk about basketball too much week one. It's still early. I saw a few things. I hope DeMar DeRozan ain't bringing what he don't do to Sacramento because they ain't playing no defense, by the way. They score a lot, but that Poochie shanked bad, didn't he? That turkey missed. I was laughing. I was like, why they keep him around? Oh, they got a bum kicker. Oh, he was bad. He was bad. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But this is how the Jets. I know again. They. That's how bad they are. That's just another kid. And you realize if he'd have made that extra point, probably maybe going to overtime. Like we don't really want to see that game go overtime, though. But New England and them are battling for the bottom. Well, they got a lot to be mad about. That's the least of their problems. I mean, he's one of the top problems, but the problem that they really got to be mad with is they ain't got no quarterback. They can't run no real routes, and their defense ain't that good. You can't have Jacoby Brissett running down the field on you like that. You get third and fourth tier cats flexing on y'all. Yeah, that's why you suck. And they haven't done nothing after Robert Sala left. I think they've lost every game since Robert Sala's been gone. I believe that. Well, lost to the Bills, got spanked by Pittsburgh, and then they lost to New England. The close games to the Bills in New England, but got spanked by Pittsburgh. So okay, we're gonna be curious about how this poll gonna turn out. So far, Wade has got the edge. Both them statues are scary. But yeah, keep on telling me what your other takes from the game. Detroit, oh man, Tennessee is. Whew, I can't stand teams like Tennessee and the Raiders. First two possessions, they score touchdowns or field goal. They get then they just get waxed. They get waxed, just like New Orleans getting waxed. Yeah. So okay, anybody coming through? Feel free to hit the questions, comments. Ready, ready. They are the best team in the NFC. I've already said that. far as I'm concerned, it's them and then there's everybody else in the NFC. In the NFC, I don't know if they can beat Kansas City because Kansas City always seems to match up with whoever they play against. But I did feel, I said a year ago, I thought those two were gonna be in the Super Bowl because that first game, I was impressed what I saw. This might turn out to be one of the craziest trades with Jared Goff and Matt Stafford with two guys quarterback. Oh yeah, comment sections in Cleveland was hilarious. I was on them. I was cracking up. Dallas too. Yeah, the first game of the season. But when I saw the Lions play, I thought that would have been the Super Bowl because I had a chance to kind of look at it, and I thought those teams were the best two I saw. And I kind of sensed that this year too, like a crash course. Oh yeah, they'd be hilarious. I'd be cracking up. The Cleveland fans are the most funniest. Dallas fans is in there. Um, your fans were okay. They were in between. Someone was giving Willis his love. They were talking about how they undefeated. I checked out I peeped the comments. I don't think I called too much at Arizona Miami. But that's what's going on now. So okay, let's get into some conversation. Whatever you want to talk about. Your thoughts on Dak. Did, what did I think about? He threw two bad picks. He looked like Dak. You didn't see my football video? Did you see my football review video already? I put it out. Did you? If you saw my video, you saw what I said. He does the same thing all the time. Two bad picks, team down by 40. Then the fourth quarter, 5 minutes to go, he gets these three meaningless touchdowns, and he's got 380 yards, and he's like, "Oh, if I could just get four more quarters, I'm coming back." And then they lose, and that's how it is because they were down by 17, and they were lucky that the 49ers had another drive. Could have been way worse. Got to look that one up. You better be telling the truth because if you're trolling, I'm going to look that up. I have not heard anything with that. Justin Tucker. Um, yeah, well, he been around forever in a day. I mean, kickers ain't gonna last forever. Did you hear anything about Josh Allen, Ted? Because I ain't heard nothing about Josh Allen. I hope that this is, I don't want anybody putting on. Yeah, well, they win. It ain't got to be pretty. When you win a Super Bowl, you're not gonna beat everybody by a bunch. The scary thing about Kansas City is that they haven't played their best ball yet. That's the scary part. And they've beaten quality teams, so the best is yet to come. That's the scary part about them. That's the scary part because they could go crazy in the second half, and they haven't hit another gear yet. But I've learned no matter when, pretty or ugly or in between, don't bet against Mahomes too much. He finds a way. He finds a way. And they've already won that division, so they beat the Chargers. They're gonna probably, they'll play the Broncos. If they do what they're supposed to do, you can already give them the crown because the Raiders, they'd already beat the Raiders and the Chargers. So, 83 for Wade. Okay, 83%. Okay, keep on commenting. Let's keep these questions. Let's keep everything lively. Please hit like, subscribe. You got comments, you coming through. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. He always does. There's nothing new. The difference is that he's an older guy now. When he did that in Green Bay, y'all tolerated it because he was young and spry. He's not the same. He's not the same. And they're not a good team. And he was pathetic. You can't lose to New England. He's losing to teams he used to own. Lost to Minnesota. He's losing to teams that aren't even that good on defense. That's the sad part. He's throwing picks and getting hit blindside He's not getting the ball out quick enough, and it's just not there. And if he can't see it, well, then that's why he. Oh, how you doing? Oh, good. Hi, good to see you, Charlene. No, he trying to be. I guess he's trying to act like he loyal. Pierre Morgan is a joke, okay, a joke. And he went for one of them idol type of one of them judging shows. He's one of them pseudo cats that is like Bill O'Reilly. Is what he is. Overseas version of Bill O'Reilly. And now he's trying to act all coy like he's looking at Jaguar Wright like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, you do. Because he didn't enter that Bill O'Reilly shock jock trying to, that's his last ditch effort for relevancy. He's a joke. He's a joke. He rolls himself up with anything that's on Fox News and anything that's of an agenda. So he's a joke. Went to the Geraldo Rivera Academy of Acting for Journalists. He did that on. He know what. Well, see, let me tell you a story. If a black woman like Jaguar Wright gets on those platforms, they've been watching the numbers. You don't get on those shows if your numbers, if you ain't bringing, what I always say, at the money right, it's all right. And money funny, we don't have no time for you. We don't know you. That's what that was about. See, she's got pull. The algorithms are strong, and she been on something, and they know it. He know what she doing. Now in his world, he don't know her, but in his money to get world, they've been watching these streets. So if everybody helps me out here, you never know. But I won't. I don't. I wouldn't go on them. I wouldn't go on none of them shows. They ain't gonna, unless I blew up, and then I'd still keep my platform. I wouldn't change it. But that's what they do. That's how he brought on because she clout. She got the goods, and she been saying it for 4 or 5 years. Okay. People that watched her on Storm and Row or some of these other shows that she was the platforms on, she was been saying it, been said it. It's just that now they mainstreamalize it. See, that's the one of the beautiful things of being a content creator. You ain't got to get yourself out there after the fact. I am starting to think there's some truth to it. I've been know she's telling the truth because she came from Philly. I know about all those artists there, and so when I talk about the industry, um, I've done my homework on a lot of things. She may throw some things out there a little bit stretchy, kind of like Orlando Brown, but I read between the lines. But the stuff does check out. It checks out because Wendy Williams was airing it out 30 years ago, and they call everybody cuckoo. No, she ain't got no reason to lie. Rerun. His ex-wife be on Storm and Rose sometimes. She had a good segment about Steve Harvey, which aired him out because Steve Harvey's allegedly stepdaughter. She done been involved with Michael B. Jordan and with Diddy and all that. And all that mess is crazy, and it's a bunch of, Steve. Steve is for the industry, as you know, bought and paid for, and the whole thing with him and Bernie Mac and all that. So, you know, there's a lot of acting, and a lot of people don't like him, and it's no story. But rerun was something else. No, she ain't got no reason to lie. When you get to this point, what's up, Jay Will? How you doing? I'm surprised you didn't even show your face in here. I'm glad to have you here as a on the show, but I'm surprised you come out your house. Especially after them Cowboys, because are y'all gonna ever win a game again? I'm surprised you coming out here, big time. See, because Bernie had style, had street, and could bring it. Except for Mr. Drummond, that cat lived a pretty straight life. I don't know what potato salad means. Yeah, Cowboy fans, you gonna definitely hear it, and especially what happened yesterday in the NFC East because that catch in DC and the way the Eagles looked against Cincinnati. Oh, buddy, Dallas might not even make the playoffs now. Not because you got to sweep Washington and Philly. Of course, you're gonna sweep the Giants. that size cracked me up. They got Allen Iverson looking like Gary Coleman. Now that cracked me up. Thank you for taking part in the voting. I was like, I mean, at least I could see California Love, Dr. Dre imagery on Dwayne Wade, but the Allen Iverson thing, you had to put your head all the way down. Like, oh, that's a good question. The worst statue, cause it, I was like, which one? I was like, wow. I mean, they took pound for pound to another level in Philadelphia. Please hit them likes up if you coming in. I welcome it. And please, if you want any comments or any donations or anything, feel free. I welcome it. Come on through. Let's get this thing going. Let's keep this party going. But yeah, they definitely did him an injustice. But yeah, Charlene, that's true. That's true. They didn't win. They didn't play last night. Who'd you play last night? Because I know you beat Sacramento. I thought it was 3-0. Oh yeah, that's pretty sad though. Well, when you get your butt on the road, we'll see what you got because you gotta go to Phoenix. So we'll see what happens. I saw 3-0. I don't know about 4-0. You ain't beating Phoenix though. You ain't gonna beat Phoenix. The Shaq one was nice. The Shaq one was nice. 3-0. Anthony Davis looked good. I already said that. He got to play like that every night though. You ain't that good. Y'all don't play no defense. And when teams start figuring y'all out how to get you, believe me, we'll see. Yeah, the Shaq one was cool. The Kobe one, that was a surprise. I didn't see Jameson playing like that. I was talking about that. I was talking to my family relative, and he was going about Jameson. Yeah, the Jordan one is still like a standard. You shocked about Jameis? I think we all are shocked about Jameis. I think if you're a football fan, you ain't see Jameson because he didn't look like nothing like that in New Orleans. And we knew he was like the third or fourth wheel in Cleveland, and that's embarrassing. Because Cleveland should have you out there every other snap, and they weren't even trying to play him in Cleveland. So this was hilarious. It's like a comedy show. I'm surprised. I didn't see it coming like that because he stunk. He couldn't even. They weren't even gonna bring him back in New Orleans. And you see what's going for quarterback in New Orleans? Have you watched the Saints without Derek Carr? Have you watched the Saints without Derek Carr? They got used car salesmen out there trying to play quarterback. They stink. So they didn't want Jameis. That should tell you something. All right, now I see more people coming through, so feel free to come on, hit that like, comment, subscribe. And if you got any questions, we talk about a whole lot of different of everything. We didn't gotten into entertainment section. It's all entertainment though. Yeah, do you know Brock Purdy out rushed him by himself? I saw his runs too, but that who's that rookie they got? They got another one. Yeah, when you up there running with Ezekiel Elliott, and Ezekiel Elliott is like the half of what he used to be body wise. So, and that's why they suck. That's why Meathead gone. Yeah, in the past, what phenomenal running game. Because Tony Pollard was your main back last year. Ezekiel was old coming into 2 years ago. What are you talking about? The first 3 years, I'll give you. But the last 5 or 6, I can't. But they can't run at all. And they can't stop the run. So you ain't gonna do nothing this year. You should just go ahead and tank. You ain't gonna do nothing this year. It's over for the Cowboys. I told you. Did you hear what I said? I told Ted, and I'll tell you if you didn't hear me. You got to sweep Philly. You got to sweep Washington. Of course, you're going to sweep the Giants. So you got to win 5 games right there in the division. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's the only way you get in as a wild card. Good luck with that. And I got a news flash for you. Detroit ain't losing nothing. That's hilarious. Oh, that is too funny. That's the only time you put them two in the same sentence. Russian agent can. I don't know what that mean in English. You better tell me who you is. Tell me who you is. That's funny, Ted. Now that's hilarious. I don't think you're gonna ever hear nobody get them two mixed up. But Purdy did look good on them runs though. But anybody can run against Dallas. I mean, they don't really. And I held these heads on sticks talking about Dallas was gonna win this game and that this was easy because McCaffrey wasn't there and so this wasn't there. I don't know who that is, and I don't do no shout outs to no bullies, but I will tell you this: better tell your teachers or something. Yeah, and the Mighty Quinn looking good right now because when that touchdown went down yesterday, that was crazy. Pollard looks good in Tennessee, by the way. They just stink. They ain't got no quarterback and no heart, but you made a statement all right. You start giving up 30 points, you make everybody look good. 49ers had not looked good. They played Kansas City. They couldn't crack past 18 points. They were struggling. They hadn't even looked good in the last few weeks. You're always making people look good. You're making people look good. I don't want to hear no one ever talking about Michael Parsons. Well, he's gonna get into shit. He's gonna get into gear with them. That was just a warm up. You wait till 5 games into it. He's healthy, motivated. You ain't seen nothing yet. By week 12, 13, that's when you're gonna really see D Hop. First of all, there was never no bandwagon to get into because you remember last year, the ground, the butt put him out for a whole year. He fell over his feet and was out. I need you to notice that. That was a sign right there with Aaron Rodgers. I ain't gonna say 10 years younger. He all he has to do is run some routes that he doesn't have to overdo it. He's gonna fit in, but you're gonna see about the fifth week. I will say Mayo was trying to coach that team up, but they stink. But that was embarrassing, though. That's what I'm saying. That's embarrassing. That was a bad loss. Bad. Bad. Especially when Brissett got to come off the bench and save your butt. Please continue to hit them likes up. You got comments, feel free to come on in. Got some good folks coming through. Keep on voting on that statue, as long as it don't scare you none. I was, but again, we talk about whatever. Feel free to come on through. We could talk about college football too if you want to. Colorado got their magical 6 wins, so Deion Sanders, they in bowl contention. I call him biscuit, brisket. Yeah, Ted can answer that if you want to. Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good yesterday. He played the best he's looked. I still say they should have left him over in Europe though, but he played pretty good yesterday. That was the best I seen him look at the game yesterday. But yeah, they he played decent, but he has the scrub like they didn't fell off so bad. Doug Peterson got I'm gonna get fired real stamped across him. I'd be very surprised if old Doug Peterson, if he starts off slow like this next year, if he makes it through this year, it'll be gone. I'll be very surprised. Yeah, we call him brisket too. But he looked good yesterday. He good for a couple of games, but just can't have him as a starter. And remember, Jacoby was a quarterback in Cleveland. They take anybody to start there because, all right, keep on going. What we got, what we got, what we got. Let's go. Penn State, they beat us. Yeah, that's a big win, big game for both teams. Most stuff it can be forget. It depends on what we talking about, Charlene. Depend. Omar Epps. That's what we call him. Omar Epps. I call him a mod squad. That's what I call him. Omar Epps, but it's like mod squad. He's like Detective Tomlin. He's well researched, well rehearsed. He's Detective Tomlin. I will say this: Penn State usually has to beat Ohio State and Michigan. Those are two games that always they get that 10-2. Whoever wins this game, out of Penn State and Ohio State gonna probably be in the running for a chip. Whoever loses, see, if Penn State loses, they don't carry the same cachet as Ohio State, so they'll get a second tier bowl. Yeah, it always depends, Charlene, on what we talking about. And some people's things are not. It depends. Most things is forgivable though. Most things are because life's short and people need to stop judging so much. I mean, within context, within context. But you gotta give me an example though. Georgia, if they don't have to play Alabama, they gonna win title. They'll win title for the next 5 years. If it wasn't for Alabama, they probably be on a 3-4 peat. I'm not lying. They are a cut above. Yeah, we always say it all depends. Depends on what we talking about. Give us a topic, we can work with it. But when you just say, "What's this?" I don't know. I don't know. Um, who did it? And I ask that because it depends on what the context is. You can pray for someone, but you know what they say. You can. Well, I told you that, but we still got 5 wins though. 5-2, 5-3. Go get a Kool Aid bowl. Ted, they'll still get the Kool Aid bowl. They'll at least get the Kool Aid bowl because they just need one more win. But I agree. Um, Music artists and politicians, that's nothing new. It's just that with the hip hop artists and I think that I think that um, Obama Midwest, Eminem Midwest, and they each got a distinctive flavor. Obama first black president, and then Eminem a big white rapper in hip hop. So that's an interesting combination, and there's someone that's gonna seize that moment. But I know it probably caught some people off guard though. So Obama's a pop cultural president too. Well, friends, so some boyfriend. Well, again, sometimes it says more about the You look at both those parties and hold the same capability. So you know, with that person that was with someone, were they really with that person without some problems, and then the friend doing it? So what does that mean? Does it was it a romantic situation, or was just a hookup? And there's a lot of connotation to this. So again, and what has been the result from it? And were they honest about it? Did they have any feelings for one another? See, there's a lot of ways we can go with this. You can be upset about it happening, but yeah, but it only happens like Jerry Springer if it turns out that they had something on somebody else, and then it takes a life of its own. But you want to know what's off with that? You want to know? Dame is looking to have a credible spot, but he's not a credible player. And Giannis has been Americanized, where he's trying to hang on to what he remembers, but he's not getting the right structure. And so when they let go of their coach, and then they got another coach, and then they tried to do a flip and a flap, they don't have a leader on the team. Drew Holiday kept that team together. They don't have that no more. Now I ain't got no problem with them letting no Buddha curse the coach get the one that took them to the finals losing. But they've been going through these coaches, and then they stuck with Doc Rivers, and now you stuck playing pity pat, and you don't know what you're doing. Dame is not the guy that you get as a second sidekick. He's a stat pattern. He would be scary if he could play with two top tier dudes. Then he'd be scary. He ain't meant to be a one, and he ain't a two, but his stats make him out to look like he's something. Giannis talented and made himself to a great player, but Giannis is also stuck. So don't be surprised if he ain't trying to get up out of there, because they're not winning nothing with Doc in that situation. Don't play no defense. They don't utilize Brooke Lopez the right way, and they just seem like a team that's just kind of throwing darts in the dark. That's why I don't want to take them seriously. Giannis should be taken serious, but he ain't because Boston knows how to beat him. And then he's one of those guys. It's a great story for what it is, but will it go into anything else? I don't know. Well, Jamal Murray is one of those kind of guys. He doesn't. He's streaky. So, but that's not their biggest problems. The problems is they lost a lot in free agency. They don't have another scoring option. Michael Porter Jr., I thought was going to be like a big version of like a Clay Thompson, is inconsistent. Aaron Gordon scores somewhat. They don't have nothing to match Jokic. That's the problem. They need someone that can match Jokic. They have nothing, and it shows. The offense is actually more problematic than their defense. They just don't get enough scoring. The Knicks are going well, aside from when they go against Boston. They're pretty much better than most teams. Jamal gets hurt a lot, but it's also his composure. He's kind of cool. They need another scoring option in Denver. They need someone that's a go in between him and Jokic. That's the problem. They don't have it. They should rebuild. Westbrook's at a stage now where he's just trying to catch on for one last run of something. That's just the sad reality. That's why he keeps playing for 60, 11 different teams. I think Pat Riley, that's why he's the Dwayne Wade tribute and the Riley tribute. And they're going to have tributes, but they're oldies but goodies. No one is trying to come to South Beach. So that's what the problem they run into. We knew Westbrook was going to be a problem. He been washed. He did good with the Clippers, but the problem is he got to be on a team that has structure. And right now, Denver doesn't have any structure. They need to get somebody. They need somebody to come there that could score. Maybe Zach Levine. Maybe somebody that could just be instant offense because they don't have it. That's the problem. Because once you get past Jokic, they don't have what they should. That guy is getting robbed of dominance right now, if you must know. I'm just gonna keep it 100. You put some people that can play half court ball with Jokic's style, that he would be doing some things. He ain't gonna do nothing with that squad. Just saying. And they don't play no. They get caught up trying to score, and so teams are just just saying. Continue to hit the like and subscribe and that people and also feel free to hit that like button. Take the poll question. We asking today, Dwayne Wade or Allen Iverson, whose statue is the worst and scariest? There's no wrong answer. Actually, this can be your Halloween question. If you want it to be which which statue scared you the most, feel free. Where you at, Charlene? Because I come back with that thing. But yeah, it all depends if people caught feelings. It all depends if people are, you know, there's a lot to it. Jesse he took his game to role player to All Star. Well, he got some size on him. He got some exposure. What happened in the Dallas series? Um, that's true, Ted. Um, I appreciate you bringing it to me because I got a chance to really sit there and watch him talk, and I was like, "You need to stop with this mess." No, Chad hit the weight room, and they got exposed against Dallas, the two-man team, and they got complacent. They got they were he's building on what he's coming on. I think they got us a team that could be a problem. I really do. I like the way they play. They got a lot of energy. They're aggressive, and SGA might get that MVP this year. He only gets exposed if they have to have some sanctions where people come in. But again, you know, the reality is that it's business as usual, Madison Avenue. People know. They know. They just don't care. They don't care. We could sit here and talk about racial discrimination and separatism and inequality all day, but you know, yeah. But we see with our own eyes. I've been watching wrestling since I was a kid back in the day, And they don't have a lot of black wrestlers that ever blow up. They don't put the money behind them. The Thunder, yeah, I agree with Charles Barkley. And I'll tell you something. SGA didn't get the MVP last year. He could be on a mission. They could be on a mission. I think getting rid of Giddy, I think bringing in the pieces that they need, Chad adding to his game, I think they could be a problem. Because I don't think they're going to be the same team they were a year ago. I think they're going to be a problem. And I know that when I watch SGA go, he seems like he's getting better with each year. Well, you would be frustrated because he's supposed to be in his peak in his prime. I mean, we're talking about guys at top 10 center. We were asking, was he a threat to the Elijah Moses Malone, past David Robinson era just what, 4 months ago? And now he's stuck with them busters. He might not get out of that 8-7-8 slot as a center because all the stats you put up, you know, they haven't really figured out to contain him because he's still getting triple doubles. The problem is he don't have the others. The others are not doing their job. The others are not effective. Without a Caldwell Pope, without the guys aren't playing defense and they are getting exposed for being shooting threes and being flat-footed. They're getting out hustled, out work. It's not so much they figured him out. It's just that they're not afraid of what is around because he compartmentalized and made everybody look good. Those guys don't make no shots. So that's the problem. If you're not making your shots, then what? They can't stop Jokic. I mean, Jokic is gonna move up the top five or so triple doubles, but without anyone making shots on a consistent basis, and make no mistake about it, he's a beast. But are you scared of anything they got? I mean, you're not sitting around. Aaron Gordon has an out of body game. Michael Portis comes out with a game, but they're not a consistent team. Jamal is streaky. Well, he get going, he can get going, but so. But I wouldn't say nobody figured him out because I'm gonna tell you something. He could catch fire, and he's dangerous enough to catch fire. So we'll see. We'll see. Keep on hitting the likes, hitting the subscribes, hit the membership, and also feel free to continue to take the voting. And let's get some more questions out because when you got something going, let's do it. 67% with Wade. So that's interesting so far. Got 12 votes so far. So Dwayne Wade is still considered the worst statue of the two. Interesting. Yeah, and you see the thing is that is a problem he's gonna run into. He's getting old, and I told you already. I told you here first. I give him about 2 or 3 years. They got their work cut out for them. They're gonna have a real interesting season, but they got their work cut out for them. They got their work cut out for them. Who's gonna come and step up? Buddy Hield, but playing pretty good. But they lost to the Clippers, and Clippers could be a problem. Yeah, his boy. You got to remember, he very fragility of him because I mean he goes hard. Got a lot of wear and tear on that body, so you know how they go. And like I said before, that's why I only gave him 2 or 3 more years tops after this year. Older now, and unlike when they were running the league, everybody doing what they do. And that's why Kamingas has to come up and Wiggins, and they got to get a lot of, Buddy Hill got to step way up. They got to come up big. This is why we're gonna find out how good of a coach Steve Kerr really is. We're about to find out. Okay. anyone talking about. So anyway, nobody likes talking about football. Okay, I see. We got a number of basketball. People hate talking about football. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm not gonna argue with that. I guess no one's excited was excited about that Washington game against Chicago though. I mean that way that game ended. That I was thinking between that and Freeman's home run the other night. I'm thinking which was more exciting because I didn't see that ending for Washington. Crazy. He probably, yeah, I'm sure his dad will be like, "Look, you want to stay another 3 years? Because you know Cleveland gonna suck for 2 more years. And you know that, right? But you might have to get out there and get that money." But interesting thing, the Browns are supposed to have a dome, so might not be as bad. Okay, if you got KD as the top five greatest mid-range shooter of all time, who are your other four? You can't afford to pull an Eli because the thing about it is Eli went to the Giants. The Giants ain't that good. Where else would you go? Probably would be stuck on the East Coast. Jets, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, something like that. Trying to think where else would he go? Carolina. Carolina. Oh man, it's some slim pickings. Yeah, when Eli pulled that Britney Spears face, nobody wants to go to the Raiders and nobody wants to go to the Titans. Nope, nope, nope. Not a good look. Not them two teams. He looked good yesterday, and the thing is, they they're one of those teams. They're not good, but they're dangerous. It's like the Rams. You don't have to face those kind of teams because those are the kind of teams that could be problematic. That's what I don't like about cats like that because that's that old. If I feel like it, I'll do it. And he's a good example of that. He always has those 3 or 4 games out the year where he play out his mind, and then he has them 5 or 6 games where you're out of your mind for messing with him. And then he just always gets you. And they were effective enough, but I'm not sold on Tampa Bay either. I'm not sold on them. You act like that's something to get excited about. I mean, come on now. I only gonna do a video if the Giants win. If they don't win, I'm already done with my football weekend review. And I believe Russ will get it done. Well, there's nothing to take a play. You run the ball properly. You blitz on Geno Smith. You keep them at bay. They're not going. They're not that deep of a team. Seattle, a pretty average team. I wasn't surprised at all. The thing is, as long as you beat, and they didn't even put the beat down on them like they could have. Should have put a 40 burger on them easily. Every time they played, there's always been a blowout. No, but that's not saying much. I mean, you're playing for New England. What you want me to say? He looked all right, but he ain't gonna be no threat. They need receivers, man. They need consistency. They're not a good team. I don't know what he really is until I see. I don't know what he's got. But I know y'all get excited because he got the name Drake. So, but he all right. But they're just not a good team. That's what Mayo said about him. He said they were soft. No, not me. I'm talking about the Panthers. They're not JV. You're insulting JV. The Panthers are like Pee Wee. What you talking about? JV. Panthers is the Pop Warner. It's like a Pop Warner team. Your defense is nice. I told you before. You could be a problem. In the postseason, it could be one of the problems that teams don't have to face. I'm giving the Packers their flowers because everything comes together. Watch out. I don't know where everybody went, but feel free to hit the likes and the comments and everything. I'm listening to anything that you want to talk about, so feel free. We have 13 votes so far for the worst statue. Dwayne Wade's at 62%, so his gap is definitely closed. He might even break that thing down. We'll see. Big game for y'all. Now, I'm going to tell you, you want to win the game. If you lose it, you don't want to get blowed out. Detroit is putting them people on notice, so it's going to be a very feisty game. Old Frenchman LaFleur, oh, oui. He's he's cool, you know. Old Frenchie, clean cut LaFleur, you know. He's actually pretty nondescript. They win games. Just kind of like, LaFleur, La France, La Explorer. Not really. I think he's done pretty good in the post Aaron Rodgers era. Well, he never was in the clouds. I mean, yeah, they had 6-0, but no one believed it. I mean, there's like everybody was like Sam Donald. Are you for real? How they gonna believe it when they out there probably giving him drug tests and swiping his nose to see you really what you been smoking? Know about it. You know, that is Sam Donald we're talking about. Hmm. I try to pay him not too much attention. Yeah, I did a video on all that. I talked about all that. It's all in my football video. I told you that Jalen Hurt looked scary the second half. Saquon was running. Uh, they got some good pressure on Joe Biden. Not Joe Biden, but Joe Burrow. Cincinnati needs a new head coach. I've already told you. They're just not on the same wavelength. Body language tells me they're off. You know, so they could be in for a long season. See him sometimes. Yeah, that's no surprise. I told you I did my video about Spike. Spike's all in there. She did a Club Shay Shay episode, so she's trying to, you already know what's up. I ain't gotta say it. Spike's like, well, come on board, do this, do that. You know how it is. I'm not even gonna entertain that mess. If you got something to say something. If you don't, you put me to sleep. And don't come on here being disrespectful. Introduce yourself, say something for yourself, or you can bounce. Because I'm waiting on people that can communicate. So be respectful if you come in here. If you ain't gonna say something respectful, you can agitate the premises. Makes me no differences. I'm waiting for conversation. Pretty much. That's how pitiful trolls are. They come up on your thing, and because if you nod or you probably like a little Dirk reject, and that's what ends up happening. People got stuff to say, but ain't got nothing to say. They ain't got no intellect or the dialect. So that's what we dealing with. Anyway, 14 votes so far, 57%. Wait a minute. Okay, it's closing now. Okay. I guess we in a situation where people are kind of looking at that. It's getting close. It's getting close. And I am welcome for conversations. I got more people coming through, so I'm just looking forward to have more people that's got stuff to say. So if you got comments or anything, feel free if you got something to say. What's the 13% thug play? I don't understand that. Oh, Whitlock always got something to say. They let him troll. You should know that by now. He's been, you know, allowed to say stuff and without really saying anything. Um, that Timothy comedian Heathcliff. I did a video about him today. If you know Timothy Heathcliff, the comedian, Tony Heathcliff, Tony Hinchcliffe, Tony Hinchcliffe, Cleef. He spoke at the Trump rally. He was at the Trump rally last night in New York. Tony Hinchcliffe, look it up, Hinchcliffe. I did a video about him. Yes, he's the biggest one. And I'm gonna tell you something. You don't have to be black to be one. Oh, I did the video. Look at my video. He talked about black folks. Talking about the black dude's head looked like a watermelon on his head. He was very derogatory. He and see when I get when this is the thing. I don't have a dog in this race because I'm about reparations and sitting on my couch. But when I get asked why I'm not like some of the other cats who's all about the Trump thing, because I know about him. I know about the Central Park Five. I was a teenager with the Central Park Five, so I got a long memory. He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. He likes black entertainers. I saw Thomas Hitman Hearns, who's one of my childhood favorite fighters, if you must know, sitting up there walking all shaking hands and dapping him up. My cousin Lawrence Taylor dapping Trump up. I'm like, y'all need to be talking about reparations. If y'all don't want Kamala Harris, fine. But you sure as heck can't use this as an alternative. I mean, come on now. No, he didn't do his eye. Who you talking about? No. Uh, this Hemcliff dude, that's the comedian who did the Tom Brady roast. No, he was just uh yeah, it's on there. And I saw it. I saw it last night. Someone sent me a tape. Someone sent me a tape. Somebody know I'm a Hitman Hearns fan because he's wearing his black jacket. He's up on the stage and Trump's like, oh, one of my favorite fighters ever. He's a real champion. And Hearns got up there, you know. And it's sad for me to see cats that I grew up with being, being hoodwinked or pushing this agenda. That's the sad part. I don't like it on either side. You asked me about Eminem and Obama. I said I could see that happening, but I don't like it on either side. But I got a problem what I see on Trump's side because they come with like cats that are, it's just the stuff hits differently. So that's how I look at it. I'm not gonna tell nobody what to do, but if you ask me, well, no, Mike's from New York, and believe it or not, where do I go with this? This is a good one that you brought up. A funny you mentioned him. He, in his own ideology, and he is an intriguing character, is a pretty conservative dude. He has a lot of wildness and antics and so on, but his own philosophical reasons, he he identifies with that. He identifies with that. Believe it or not, once we get past all the machismo and all the antics and this and that, that's what he identifies with. And plus, Trump was part of when the fights in Atlantic City and all that. So it's like that's what he know. Trump was big in the culture back in the 80s, pop culture. A lot of these cats, fighters and these music artists and actors and all that, he was in the middle of a lot of folks at that time. Even though he was like a shadow figure, he made himself front and center. So it's association. But there's a big difference between what you associate with from a social gathering and what you deal with as a politician. I think that's why the things that some people be asking, well, how come people look at Trump differently now? Because he wasn't presenting that kind of facade when he was trying to be cool with these folks. It's a big difference when you're a politician and then when you're doing it in the entertainment capacity. That's how I would address that. But yeah, that's my thoughts and takes on that though. So mhm. Keep on with these questions. And we got some good topics. Got more people coming in, and please continue to hit the likes and whatever you want. I'm gonna find out. Um, cause I followed him. I used to live in Houston, Texas, and I remember when he won his Olympic gold medal, and he had a little flag, and he did this little dance where he shuffled in the middle of the ring. Um, but the funny thing about him is this: yeah, he'd be political and all that, but he was never a nice dude. That's the trip out thing. So it was kind of like he didn't really fake the funk. He was what he was. So if you liked him, you did, and if you didn't, you didn't. That's what I know about George Foreman, and that's why it shocked me about the grill blowing up, because he wasn't exactly all cuddly and fuddly. No diddy, but he the appeal was crazy. People like him. I mean, the grills took off, and I'm a man. Or what are you? I'm not gonna deal with no trolls. I am not dealing with trolls today. Um, he. It depends on what you're going at it with that. Give me examples because he has been about the enlightenment of education. Uh, no, I don't. I'm a lawyer with my fan. If you want to donate, so you see my donation, feel free to donate. You want me to get a new hat? Donate. That's how I answer that. When people come on here, got some smart to say, you want to donate? Feel free. I'll take a donation. Want me to get a new hat? Make a donation. What was it about Kareem recently? He he's a kind of complex cat. He's a kind of a complex cat. There's some things that it comes off like he did, and there's some things it doesn't. It depends on which way we're going with that. I know one thing. I can't really say he did any shuffle in this regard. He never got a chance to coach nobody. I'm not trying to use you, but you're coming on here saying something. First of all, you come in here on this platform, you don't introduce yourself, you don't have a question, you don't have a take. You're trying to bag on my cap. So what's your point and purpose? You're not talking about a topic. You just come in here to troll. So you don't like something, yeah, you got something to do with it. If you got nothing else better to do with your time, as they say, agitate the premise. I'm not holding you against your will. I just don't want to have nobody come here trying to be no smart. Like we having a conversation about, we're talking about different topics. And I got to deal with people always trying to troll. Can't have that on here. Um, no. You know what? Okay, let me address this. He's scared white folk. And I know what I'll tell you like this. His escapades in his personal life overtook his career. And that's a shame. Well, I tried to be respectful, but Turkey's coming here and want to keep messing with me. I'm just doing it because I'm just tired of it. That's all. I don't want to have to be good at it. I do what I do because that's how I am. But I'm trying to respect that we got a live forum, got a lot of people looking in, hoping people want to, because I'm building this thing for something for real. I'm tired of wasting time, especially when we're having good intellectual conversations. I respect these conversations we have. You must know. Respect you coming through. Can't have people just saying any old thing. Let me say this: big black male sexuality, and he had appeal. He was articulate. He don't, And the strange thing about him, uh, I'm not gonna even dignify that crap. I'm not clout chasing. People know what we talk about. If you look, I do got views. I'm not gonna. First of all, I'm gonna give you one more chance to pop off. You're not gonna say nothing. I gotta take you out of here. Um, Let me address this. It scared him, and he didn't. And again, he didn't have a platform that loaned itself for certain things. So, but he was still black. So Will was never like commercially acceptable. What's happening? I don't care how many subscribers you got. D-Way was the best. I never thought he was the best shooting guard ever, but for his era, you could make a strong case. Yeah, I got Wade. I do have him tied with second with Kobe. I can agree with that. I can agree with that because to me, if you give him the same thing that Kobe had, you get pretty much the same results. I know Kobe's 5 out of 7 in the finals. Wade was 3 out of 5, but he never had a prime person with him at certain parts of his career. Get the same thing. It could be because Wade. Let's look at his number. Look at what he did. He was an accomplished player, and I haven't. I'm gonna say this as a defensive two guard. Only Jordan was better that I saw. He led his team, and he was a strong dude. And he gets downplayed. I don't be caring how many subscribers people's got. I'm not in here in no contest. Again, if you want to say something, say something. Please come in here with some respect about the form, and if not, yeah, well, you can make that case with Allen Iverson. You can make that case with Tracy McGrady, I believe. Now, the question that would make Kobe great is that Kobe added to his repertoire. I don't have no problem with the way Kobe being tied for second. I've said that. I'm one of the few people that say that because that's how I feel. I think Kobe had a great offensive thing, and I think Wade had a better defensive thing. And I think they shared the commonality of Shaquille O'Neal. And I know that Kobe had Paul Gasol and he had help, and then LeBron got Wade and got Braun and Bosh. But none. I don't really even talk about that era. I don't even talk about that era. I don't talk about the Wizard era. I like the block shot off the rim, and but it wasn't the same guy. He had some moments. He had some moments, but we're not gonna sit here and act like he had better health and he had a better outside shot because he worked on his three ball. You got to be a troll. Nobody's ever put Vince Carter as a top three shooting guard. That's hilarious. If we're talking about athleticism, okay, I give you that. If we're talking about the pureness of their no, and there's truth in that because Wade with his legs and stuff. But again, he didn't score. But he did lead the league in scoring. So you can make cases for Wade. You can definitely make strong, and he was an effective leader too. By the way, he doesn't get enough due. He's one of the most underrated. A lot of those moments, man. I mean, where do I begin? I remember the game against the Rockets when he got the rebound, and he always had a knack for past things he would do. He always had a knack. You had to work against him. Yeah, I already said that. That's why I did a video where I dissed Tim Legler for not having Tim Duncan as one of the 10 greatest players ever. It's an insult. If you know me, I'm gonna always have Tim Duncan in the top 10, top. He belong in that conversation. Yeah, I feel that way too. It's like I know some people personally right now who don't watch the NFL behind Colin Kaepernick. If you must know, just so you know, I have some folks I know who don't watch the NFL behind how they did Cap. Pete KG was better. He had stats, but he couldn't. He just didn't have the drive that Duncan did. I just think that Duncan just covered so many bases. Yep, that's true. Yeah, I just think that I mean, again, it's a divisive topic. I'm pro Cap. I still stand by Cap, and I think that he got unfairly ran out the league, and always will. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm not gonna lie to you, my football dome isn't the way it once was. Yes, I keep up with teams, and I watch things, but I'm not the same hype as I was because I think he got unfairly whiteballed because of his stance, and I always feel that way. And I think it was unfair, racially injustice, just like Abdul Road. So I got yeah. No, KG didn't get the help, but see him and Stephon Marbury fell out. He had Latrell Sprewell. He had Troy Hudson. He had Wally Serbiak. He was not that dude though. Oh, yeah, yeah. But he should still been having a chance to quarterback. He should at least be a backup. The art of no fun league when it comes to politics. When it comes to politics, definitely. If I see someone like Sam Darnold, oh now you like DJ 100 now because after he got through dissing McCap, I hope that this will be a truce that we get some conversation about stuff. So I just make sure that people ain't trolling. Okay. Um, as long as you talking about something, we cool. So as long as you ain't trolling, that's all I gotta say with that. Cap should still have a job. Okay. If Andy Dalton can quarterback, Cap should still have a job. If Sam Donald can quarterback, Cap should still have a job. Okay. Cool. If if Garner Shaw, Minshaw with the Raiders can have a job. If you still got Joe Flacco in the league, Capshaw. I don't know about all that. I think Phoenix can beat them, but the problem with Phoenix, they don't play no defense. And did you see what Kevin Durant did the other night to Luca? You too small. That was funny. I had never seen Durant do that before. I don't know what Luca said, but Durant got up in his face and said, "You too small." I was like, "Whoa, whoa, uh-oh." Phoenix is gonna put points up. They gonna know they should have beat the Lakers the other night too. What's gonna be very telling for the Lakers is when they lose that first game, how they respond. They're gonna lose because they don't play no defense. I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up that if AD gets hurt or something happens, you'll see what I mean. I don't get too excited. Laker fans are all like, cause that the fix is on. Like we're gonna play Boston in the finals, but OKC is the best team coming out the West. I'm telling you that now, and Boston is the best team in the NBA. I can almost say that uncertainty. So we'll see. Everybody else is playing for the second through eighth slot. Spurs are better or what? No, he will never be better than. He will not be no goat because they have done everything. Just because they do everything to centralize his place does not make you goat. He's a tough dude. I'll give you that, and he's impactful. I'll give you that. But the thing is that it just doesn't hit the same. I have not been impressed with his Laker run at all. And yeah, he can play at a certain high standards, but something is off. Something is off. They're not better than OKC to me. If he stays healthy, they're a true contender. But see, that's the big caveat, and also how motivated he is. But you better hope he don't get hurt, because he get hurt, they're done. They're not that good of a team. They don't play defense, and they are the refs with the free throws. Come on now, they're good enough to get through to an extent, but I'm not sold on them. No, I'm not sold on them. Not like that. I know there's a lot of hero worship that hopes that they do well. That's how bad the NBA is now because they're hero worshiping that they be something. No, he won't. No, he won't. Not in my eyes, he won't be. And how you gonna call somebody a goat if they're 5-6 in the finals? That don't even make good mathematical sense. That's not goat. That makes no sense at all. Your logic doesn't even add up. It's just because in your lifetime, that's what y'all accepting. I don't think like that. This is the only problem I ever had with these streams where I got to deal with these LeBroniacs who are gonna, and a guy that I saw who played his best ball 10 years ago. And you got to give up something to get Zach Levine too. You're not gonna get Zach Levine for what Bronny James and some Now Laters and some Gatorade. Got to give up something to get Zach Levine, and that's to say that someone else doesn't make a move for Zach Levine. Somebody else might beat you to the punch. And I don't think Zach Levine is exactly the catchphrase that's gonna get you. He's not no stud. He's a dud. What you talking about? Do you watch the same Zach Levine I do? That ain't gonna get you no title either. Neither one of those cats are those guys. Jimmy Butler when he's playing, but again, he's older now. He's probably got 2, 3 years left in the tank at the best. Zach can score and all that, but he's one of those guys that the Phoenix Suns would get. If he wasn't playing hurt, he was just playing for his stats. I'm not impressed with Zach Levine. Sorry. Oh God, here y'all go again. He's not no Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes, I can say that unequivocally. 3-1 in the Super Bowl. Mahomes has been all his career in AC championship games, and he wins without. He won 2 rings without Tyreek Hill. When has LeBron James ever won a chip without a top 75 player? Do tell me. Or a guy that's considered great. Do tell. So don't insult it. LeBron ain't never won nothing without somebody that was top tier. You must want to get off. You must want to get off this form. And I say that being real. You said you weren't trolling no more. That's trollable. I got a problem with anybody supporting John Gruden. I think it's been self-explanatory. And if you don't know, you need to let Google be your best friend before you come in the forum saying stuff. There's a reason why Tampa Bay took his name off their statue. There's a reason. Look it up. Not only taking the ring from Dungy, but also because of what he said. They did the detective work. You should too. Um, CeeDee Lamb looked good in the second half, but y'all can't run. If you're a Cowboys fan, uh, it's a lot of problems. Can't run, can't stop the run, and you didn't quit on your coach. And it's funny too. Why do y'all come on this farm if y'all gonna troll? Better coach at what? What did he do with the Raiders his last few years? They were average. He ran Derek Carr out. What has happened? Now I'm gonna tell you something, right? The same energy you have about I'm not gonna make a comparison because of the charges, but let's say it like this. The same way you tune out R. Kelly or Puffy for their situations, you should tune out Gruden. Because Gruden, and what did it get him? His name is removed from the stadium. Now, I'll be honest with you. When he first coached the Raiders, he was a good coach. And he had a couple of decent years in Tampa. But he never got to be a great coach. And what happened to him? But Harbaugh has been a postseason threat that just lost to better teams. What did Gruden do? The Raiders weren't going to be no problem. They weren't going to be no threat. See, he upset the wrong people and they ran him out. I can't feel sorry for him. He brought that on himself. He had it all and he messed up. And I just thought he was overrated as a coach. I'm not sold on Harbaugh either, if you must know, because I think Lamar Jackson was going to be something. He got credit to an extent. I think he got more credit for what they did on the defense. But you're right, if he used the Peyton Manning criteria, he didn't get enough due. He's never gotten his due appropriately, if you must know. I just can't get over this love affair for John Gruden. I don't understand it. He was a slightly better than mediocre coach who won a ring. So did Brian Billick. And we don't be talking about bring back Brian Billick. I never saw John Gruden as that deep of a coach. Just didn't. He got to be a good commentator. He had access to a lot of situations. And when you get busted like that, he had to be pretty arrogant to let that come. They lost to the Bills. What you want? There's nothing to be mad about. They were older guys too. I mean, they were older when they were together. What you expect? The Bills were running things at the early point, and those guys were. I don't know if he's better than McCarthy. I can't even say that with a straight face. I can't. Yeah, I can't say that. I'm not gonna go for that. Yeah. Well, it's all judgment. It's all judgment. Brandon Marshall had more talent, but Keyshawn got the most of his career. That's the saddest thing I gotta say about that. And that's an interesting question because you're talking about second tier receiver. It's a guy that should have been a first in Brandon. Brandon, it moved me more, but Keyshawn got more out of his career. Brandon was more. I like watching Brandon do his thing more. That's the sad part of it. I like Brandon more, but Keyshawn got a bigger platform. Keyshawn sold more jerseys. That's the sad part of it. I never get asked about those two in the sentence. That's interesting that you mentioned them too. So far, 50-50 with Wade and Iverson. Woo. Okay, we got a 50-50 poll. Some people are taking it serious now. Wow. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. I like them both, but I gotta give a slight edge to Jared Allen. But I do like them both. It's pretty close. It's pretty close, but I gotta say Jared just a pinch more. People coming with the football questions now. Okay, must be football season. Actually, football questions actually be hitting a little bit different than basketball do, because I got to deal with a lot of trolls or people that want to, boost the brag about some folks. But the football ones you kind of got to like listen to. Okay, feel free to continue. We have a good rapport going on, so feel free to keep these questions up. Got a lot of people in here tonight. I welcome it. You got some more questions? Feel free. We so let me address this. It was a tough loss, but it wasn't like they were beat early. Um, I mean, there's really nothing to say. That game was kind of like they came off the bye week. They had a chance to really. No, it was work. Well, you can't compare. First of all, they stunk back then. I remember when they were that bad. Okay, so the problem with them now is you see they've quit on their coach and they just have a talented team with no direction. I guess if you use the 1 in 15 logic from the perspective that they didn't show any fight, you're right because this team is underachieving. That and Jerry Jones gets him the job. Jerry Jones has power, and of course, when you have name recognition and by association, they put you in places. That's how it goes. But you're right; he doesn't have any business as no analyst. How's a guy that was 500 get to tell you so much? Garrett was what we call a, if you ever watched the show The Dukes of Hazzard with Enos, the cop, that's kind of like Jason Garrett. One of them corny cats that you tolerate. 500 coach, but he did have that 1 year where Dez Bryant caught that catch, but that was it. And they let him sit there for 30 years. He wasn't even a Fisher Price. He couldn't even get past the second round. But he did what Jerry said. He was good. Got treated like a lap dog. Election for the protection for the direction. So he got hooked up. I don't know, cause see, I have to. Depends on what game we're talking about. I mean, we got to go by the teams that lost, and then you got to tell me which team we're talking about. Then I got to tell you what I considered a meathead move. Back in the day, that was a meathead move. That was just embarrassing. He did beat the Packers as a backup, and that bought him like a 5 year situation. Sometimes that's all it takes. That's all it takes. Good call there, Jay Will, because all it takes is to win that one game and you out of body. It's kind of like the Jeremy Lin situation. Had him 3 weeks, bought him a 10-year deal. Um, I have to think about the games individually. What would I say that were meathead moves? I would say that the Bears. That's the first comes to mind. You gotta knock that ball down. You gotta knock that ball down. You're a young team. That's an impressionable move. That's the worst. I don't. I think that they went against Cleveland and then underestimated that they were going to show any resilience. Harbaugh is guilty of that. He's guilty of that. But Cleveland, again, these interconference rivals is real. So, you know, but the Jets, yep. Do try to be Diddy, try to be cute and one handed like he was ODB. And then that ball went off his hand and ricocheted to Noah. And he was taunting the crowd too, because there's video of him. I'm gonna do a video about that. That's what happens. You're trying to show off, and then that ball and then see that's the difference between that's how close it is, wins and losses, and also that comes back to haunt Chicago. That loss could come back to haunt them. Washington just might have bought them a punch themselves a first place bye. So and that does extreme confidence for Jaden Daniels. I'm telling you now, they got 4 games up, and remember, so they gotta split. When Aaron Rodgers threw it, it wasn't luck. When John Elway threw it, it wasn't luck because guys have to get up so much. Those guys could throw that ball upward trajectory. Everybody can't throw upward trajectory. I disagree with him. This ball was tipped. Guys standing behind and catches the ball in the end zone. That doesn't happen like that. Usually, when guys are in the end zone, they're either knocking the ball down, they deflect it, and they're aware of their surroundings. I don't know what he mean. Well, that is luck. Yesterday, that was luck. Shoot, the heck you talking about? The chances are that you tip a ball and the guy standing behind and catches it in the end zone. That doesn't happen. You're not practicing that. You're practicing the volleyball tap it, and you're practicing to try to out jump. Now, when Kyler Murray beat the Bills with that, he threw a haymaker up. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'll say this. I wouldn't. I don't know. He was good. He was fortunate. But there are people probably are upset that Jaden Daniels is succeeding. I'm sure they are because he goes against what they thought. Well, see, this is a real situation because he ain't the quarterback they want to rest in the NFC East. They were happy that Jalen Hurts was going down, and they wanted Dak to be up there. They don't know what to do with this kid. They do practice long distance shots. They do practice, but you can't practice tips though. And see, there are quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers who thrive on those haymakers. Elway, cats who throw the ball and heave it, they thrive on that. But every quarterback ain't cut out like that. Everybody doesn't have that kind of arm strength. You usually don't get the ball that deep. Well, yeah, the Bears, that'd be the section to go check out because that could be their season. For Washington against the Lions, if they can keep the game close, that's a W. Because that's a game that they're probably not favored to do well in. That's why I look at that. Please continue to hit the likes. Welcome more likes. I see more people coming through. For free to hit the likes. Um, Anybody coming through got any questions, any comments? We're 50-50 with Wade and Iverson, so that's going real good. That's really surprising. Okay, 50-50. I'm cool with that. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I don't really have anything. Believe it or not, with the Cowboy situation, um, it, the way they looked last night, it's like I know their season is done. So that's nothing I have to. That's all you got to do sometimes. That's the mark of how you get good. You win back to back close games. You got to be able to win them close games. Yeah, but yeah, well, that's why I said y'all a dangerous team. Did I not say y'all a dangerous team? You win games that you're not supposed to. You can get going. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. You're going to get some breaks. That's why there is luck involved because every team has got a chance to beat you. I don't pay Trey Young a lot of attention. What has he really done since he beat Milwaukee in Game One of the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021? How many coaches has he had since then? How good has his teams been? I mean, he's a stat pattern. Now, if Trey Young goes somewhere and does something with that, then I might be impressed. As long as he stays in Atlanta, that don't mean nothing. He just stat padding. They did. Well, you're winning games this year. People just don't like the Cowboys for good reasons, and they got a good reason now. Yep, they did until '97. Up until '97, that's when he beat them. And again, it was like styles matchups. The Packers own the 49ers, the Cowboys own the Packers. That's what it was, like a style matchup. There was styles in this. That's what it came down to, a lot of styling. I don't have, this is the thing. We already know the Cowboys stink. Ain't nobody gonna be watching no Cowboys. If Washington beat that butt, that's it. Oh, remember what I said. Lose one game to Washington or Philly and you're done. Because you gotta win, like, you gotta go 8-1 to match what you've done. You're done. I don't think you understand the ramifications. You gotta go 8-1. You gotta go 8-1. Lucky for you, New Orleans is garbage and they fell off. But you done lost to Frisco. That's gonna carry weight. Um, I can't think right now, but you're done. There's one time that, yeah, they're not coming back from this one. What driver's seat is that? The way to get home for the holidays? That's the only driver's seat you got. No one's scared of Dallas. No one is scared of Dallas. No one's worried about Dallas. You can't run and you can't stop the run. No one is scared of you. I got your guys pegged down for at least three more losses. So you lose 3 or times you don't even have to worry about the playoffs. You're done. But I like the delusion though. If you're talking baseball, that's a no-brainer. Yankees got to get them, get them. Aaron Judge got to get off the milk carton and hit, and they got to come up where everybody steps up. I told you the Dodgers was not going to be an easy series. I researched this without even knowing. I didn't know what the heck Derek Jeter was going on about. You know, you can be a fan of a team, but acknowledge somebody else as being better. That doesn't make you less of a fan. Let me say it again. He ain't even batting his body weight. And see, the problem that he's run into, he's pressing too hard. He's not taking pitches. He's trying hard to press, and it's taking his toll. Um, yeah, it's over. It would be over. The Winston expectations. Um, if they win about 3 or 4 more games, they're not getting the last two slots. They should. They should have been better than what they were. I'm sorry. You got Miles Copeland and Nick Chubb, and you got some of the talent they got. They should have been a better team. They have underachieved hardcore, but they're not that good of a team. Yes, Aaron Judge is playing like crap, and it pains me to say it because he just doesn't look good at all. He's pressing too hard, and he hasn't really done much at all. He hasn't done nothing. Soto and Giancarlo come through. Well, the problem is the Yankees have played very what I call leisurely. They played like they close to the vest. Garrett Cole pitched a really good game one, and they did enough to kind of keep it low scoring. But the problem is the Dodgers got bats that they can wake up, but they secured home field. That means you gonna have to play at least 6, 7 games. That doesn't bode well. That doesn't bode well if you're a Yankee fan because that means that that's a tough team. Yeah, because Jeter called him out after game one, and they gave up um they gave up too many home runs in this series already. Freeman's got two, and Hernandez and Edmund. I mean, they're letting the Dodgers kind of forgive me. I had to make adjustments. They're letting the Dodgers kind of you just know it's just a matter of time for Mookie Betts gets going. They got too many weapons that you can't play against. So yeah, well, but he didn't tell it like it was about the start of the series though. I don't know what gave him the idea that the Yankees had an advantage in this series. They don't. Like I root for my team, but I tell it like it is. So let me give you an example. I'm a diehard Bills fan, but Kansas City's a better team. They got a better quarterback. People don't like to hear the truth. Gotta tell the truth. You mention your team, you tell me, I'll tell you what I think. I'm not gonna sit there and lie to you. Because if you got to chase somebody to beat somebody, you're not where you think you should be. No, he's not fired. Oh, what's up? You're from Poland? What's up? Glad you came through. Thank you for coming through. You got any questions? I'm glad to have you come through. That's always good to have someone come from another country. Make it. Tell me what's up. No, he's not fired because they got to the World Series. He's not fired because they, you know, he'd only be fired if George Steinbrenner was alive, which he would have been fired like 6 years ago, as you know. Hope that helps you. You asking me would he be fired in this capacity? No, because he had quite an accomplishment to get there. If it was George Steinbrenner, he's fired twice. That's the difference. Interesting. Yeah, you. Well, you know it's true. I like your question because I know what it means in English. Well, it depends on who the owner is. They would look ridiculous firing him now because they got to the World Series, and Aaron Judge just ain't showed up. And I'm sorry, but when your best player don't show up, what can you do? To be honest with you, they pitch pretty good. They've been in the games, but he used to give them a lunch basket and put a softball in it with a bottle of wine. That was his old trademark. He still took women all the time. Jeter is something else. That's when he was single, though. Jeter was something else, though. I heard about his stories. But anyway, like I was saying, Aaron Judge got to step it up. That's a good way of looking at the shortstop. There's a lot of punchlines. 53% for D Wade, 47 for Iverson. Interesting. Still getting bids on that one. Okay. So we got that was funny. So continue, please hit the likes, hit the subscribes. Feel free to continue hit the poll. And we got any questions, feel free to ask them. I am listening. I am listening. I am listening. We are talking about a wide range of topics. So feel free to chime in. I am listening. He's good. He's good. He has a good report for the game. I think he's articulate. But you know, A Rod impressed me the most. A Rod called this World Series before it started. They had a clip of it because Jeter picked Baltimore and Philly. I think A Rod has a real fresh personality. But I think Jeter's good. He's good. Ortiz is good. Pedro's good. Harold Reynolds is one of my favorites. So, good. You know, but I do, it's too bad they can't out there and play for the Yankees, though, especially Jeter. That's what they need. Soto would benefit with a guy like Jeter. He'd have been in. He'd have been on Aaron Judge for being. Yeah, they're just a step off. It shows they are a step off. They have no rally in them. And the thing about it is, you better be careful because the Dodgers will put your butt to sleep. Yeah, I'll buy that. Put the Jerry curl back on him. Yeah, I'll buy that. He's a real good analyst. I like him. I think he had gotten some trouble though for some stuff though, but they got him back on it though. But there was something that went down. I remember that. But that kind of has been kind of subsided though. That's what I remember. No, because it's two rings. Tory won four. Tory had uh, 6 appearances as the Yankees manager. That's not going to happen. I'll say this though. I'll say this though. He wins this ring and he probably win one more, then we can revisit that, okay? 3 rings, we can revisit it, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because he had to go from a Kershaw era to Shohei Ohtani, and then the way he's going about it. So he gets three. I say, yeah. Two, he's in the conversation. But three, yeah. He needs another one if he wins this one. Because the division is tougher. And I don't even think they're the favorite team out the NL. But here he is in a situation where he's been got those division flags and he has multiple rings. Yeah. So again, that might not, again he needs at least three, and I'll make that statement. But they win this year. He's definitely on his way though. Bochy, because he went to different teams and he won, and I can't argue against that. Giants in Texas, two different leagues, two different styles. I can't argue against that. Had the Padres in the World Series. Torrey was incredible with the Yankees, good with Atlanta, and incomplete with the Dodgers. What you mean? Wow, Bochy in the four different to what four rings with different situations. I like Torrey better personally, but how am I gonna argue against what Bruce Bochy done? Look, you gotta look at what he has accomplished, and in a lesser time too. Because Torrey, I like Joe as a person better, but I can't. I'm not gonna take it from Bochy. Bochy won with the Giants, took the Padres to the series and won with Texas. That man can go anywhere and win and put you in the show. Did Joe Torre do that with the Dodgers? Now, let me throw this at you. You're a big Manny Ramirez fan because you always like throwing Manny at me, right? He had Manny. They had a stacked team in '08. Okay. Do I need to go back and tell you how stacked that? When I was a Yankee fan, I got to hear about how we buy everything. When Joe Torre went out to LA, they had a stacked team. They had talent. They underachieved. He did not get it done with the Dodgers. And I like Joe a whole lot. They lost to the Phillies, but they had a stacked team. Mitch Burmaker, how many people that Bochy has managed is Hall of Fame bound compared to Torrey? And that's just a fact. Bochy just gets it done. That's all. And I like them both. What do I think about? Yeah, that's the only thing. Again, I can be objective. I like Bochy's a great manager, yo. Shoot, he's in rarefied company. That's all. I just had to make adjustment. So forgive me. Well, the Spurs had a lot to go with. Two different types of leaderships. That's not fair to really say because if you're gonna try to make justify Tim Legler trying to downplay Tim Duncan's impact, well, what happened when they take with Dave Robinson till they got Duncan? How they went all up with it? And remember, Duncan was bad before Parker and Ginobili got into their groove. So I don't understand it. I mean, you can how you want to justify it is on your own accord. Still 53 to 47. Oh, LaRusso. Because he won where he went. And I don't like Tony LaRusso, but I got to respect him as a manager. Come on now. The Bash Brothers was a legacy, but the St. Louis Cardinals was a legacy. He was all right with the White Sox. But LaRusso was a G, yo. He won. He won. And I'm not even a fan of him like that. Now, Francona is bad what he's done, but LaRusso is like a better version of him. I give where credit is due. Overrated in Wait, you talking about in basketball? No, defense ain't overrated. You talking about in this era of NBA? It's because they want it to be overrated. It's not overrated. I will share this with you. Adam Silver and the powers that be want you to think that there's this best onslaught of offense. That's that mess that JJ Ridiculous be trying to say to you. I refuse to accept it. I've seen defenses, I've seen people play through. Oh, that's a great one, Ted. I got to give it to Leland because he got a ring. I'm sorry, he won a ring. Showalter is like that dude. Is like the bridesmaid, always right there next to the bride, but never gets to get the ring. Leland got that ring. Leland could coach multiple teams and did do well. See, there you go. Case in point. Showalter is probably like the best bridesmaid ever in any sport as a manager. Because how many teams? The Mets. I was worried the Mets were gonna beat the Dodgers. I said, "Uh oh, here we go again." Every time he leaves somewhere, teams get better. He can't finish. Can't seal the deal. It does matter. No, Jay. Well, because of the politics involved, defense looks like it's worse. It's not. That's what they want. They want it to look like it's not. You know, it's manipulation going on. I would love to say that I could agree with it, but um, okay, this thing is back now, so we still talking. So the defense is not being rewarded. It's on purpose, you know. So that's a problem I have with the NBA. Dusty Baker for me, because the Giants, the Cubs, the Astros. Cox was really good in Toronto and he great in Atlanta, but Dusty, Dusty, you know, he should have two rings. That's fair. And I like Bobby Cox too as a manager. Elderman, that's not even close. Wes Walker benefited from playing in that system, but undersized and he played his heart out. But Elderman. If Roberts wins, he passes him. Right now, I gotta say Cito. But if Roberts wins this year, he passes him because I can see Roberts winning rings going forward. He's got to get this ring. I'm taking Elderman. Elderman was a better version of Wes. He could catch. He was versatile. He was tough, and he was an upgrade over Wes Welker. And usually, I would have said I call Wes Welker the Junior Whopper Elderman. Elderman moved me more. Welker was tough, but Elderman was another level up. That's why Brady and him are still tight to this day. Elderman was another level up. Like I said before, Roberts wins, he passes him. But right now, I got to give it to Cito. But Roberts is on a. If you're looking at the Dodgers like I'm looking at them, they're going back to another couple World Series than the Dave Roberts era. So, and Cito got his two, had that, but it was a different era. And I don't like to compare, but if you're asking me going forward, Dave's definitely got more going for him. I think the statue question is 50-50 now. Yeah, 50-50. Interesting. Walker, Wade and okay, keep on asking me some questions. I am listening and listening. We have more viewers coming through, and I welcome you to hit the like, subscribe. Yeah, well, yeah. It's funny thing. Thank you. When I got on, I was thinking to myself. I said, "Am I gonna talk about this, or am I gonna talk about that home run and that touchdown?" And I decided because the Wade thing, I said, "Okay, I'll do that." It was a last second one, Sometimes my ideas just come at the last second. But I figured no one had talked about the Iverson thing enough. And I remember cringing at both of them now. But two different ways about cringing at them. Okay, so if you got questions, feel free to come on. Let me know what's up. Let's keep talking. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the membership, anything. Feel free. Mm, are you asking me about the now or are you asking me about the before? I have nothing to be fair or not about. There's nothing that's been off. I shouldn't even have to think about the umpires, to be honest with you. That's nothing I would say that's off. I just, when you get to this stage, you're either going to see some teams going to tear off into someone or they're going to get some help. Short yards? Short yards? I don't know. Short yards, I'm going to. Well, that's what Mike Allstar came in handy. That's what he did. That's what he specialized. That's what the boom, boom, boom. I don't know who's starting game for the Yankees today, but I don't think they'll pitch any better than what they've done. They pitch. Hmm. Yeah, I said All Star. Short yards. Don't know who you are, TJ. And I'm not gonna take this question, so it's gotta go. You come on here. You can ask questions, identify yourself, say yourself, but to come on here and troll and you know, that's it. For me, that wasn't a real question. That was almost offensive. Read, think about how you wrote it, the good ones and the bad ones. Give me an example and make it make sense. Because you're just up here saying stuff. I need to know in what context you're referring to. You talking about music artists? You talking about politicians? What are you talking about, TJ? Um, Andre Reed. Chris Carter was more talented, but Andre Reed got more out of what he did, and he was actually the star. He was the dude. Chris Carter was a talented cat. Thought he was better than what he was. Of course, it's the Steelers. Are you kidding me? I said I'd shoot a video if the Giants win, and that would be hilarious. Because if the Steelers lose that game, they're not coming back from that. Chris Carter was back to Vegas. Yeah, it's true. I gotta get this trolls out of here. Can't have that on here. Uh, yeah, and he ended up going to Washington his last year. But the thing about Andre never gets his due. That's what I'm saying. Who they got James Lofton in Buffalo, but James Lofton was not James like the same. But Andre Reed's thing was legit. Andre Reed was bringing it by his slants and his curves and his hook. Carter was bad, physical receiver, big receiver, but Andre Reed, he just moved me more. That's all. What is your question, TJ? And I don't, and I feel like you're trolling. What is the question? You're up here saying that if black people that are bad are messing with the good ones. I don't understand where you're getting at. What's your logic? Why don't you ask Ted and everybody else in here what you mean by your logic? See if it makes sense. Because I don't understand this. If you bad, if you good. I mean, Mark Clayton, yo. I like Tim Brown a lot in Notre Dame and all that. Come on now, Clayton and Duper. Hey, Clayton was bad. Clayton was bad. Jerry Curl Clayton, come on now. Yeah, okay. I wonder how old you are if you remember that, because I was just a wee bit, just a wee bit at that time. That was way back 50 years ago. My real memory of him was when I was about 9 or 10. After he caught that ball against Cleveland, that bomb. What was OG Bill's quarterback name? You talking about Joe Ferguson? Yeah, but I was a real youngster when that took place. I wasn't like even 7 or 8 years old. By the time I got aware of him like that, I was he was near retirement. Does that make sense? So I caught all the highlights, and I was familiar with Reggie McKenzie. Joe Ferguson was still playing as I got into my later O's before I got to tens and stuff. I can't say that. It's not avoiding. It just doesn't sound like a good question. I don't really like the connotation of it because you're trying to generalize. Oh, of course I do. Now I won money on the Raiders in that Super Bowl against Washington. Oh yeah, I was about 12, 13. I remember Marcus like yesterday. See, I got to see Marcus in living color. Like that was different, and he was an exciting player. They keep asking us questions about black people tend to be the worst with within the race and of all the people and how they're bad or something and doesn't look the others look good. And I don't understand it. I remember that. Are you from Buffalo? Cause that's a real Buffalo lingo. That was a statement. Yeah, well I lived it. I remember it verbatim and I didn't like it. And it didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, Arnell, you sound like someone that lived up in upstate New York. Gale Sayers would be scary in any era. He was all purpose. Daryl Talley was underrated. So was Nate Odom too. Yeah, Gale Sayers was something else. He's one of my five greatest backs ever. He could run like crazy. Okay, I'm tired of this crap. Dealing with trolls. That's the end of that crap. If you want to talk about something racial or something and you got it in a proper context, we can discuss it. If you're just gonna sit here and just troll, I can't deal with that. I don't have no problem with Scott Norwood. He missed a field goal, but the fans weren't hating on him. We got beat by a better team that wasn't better than us, but the Belichick's defense, they beat us that day. How am I gonna hold it against him? It was a hard fought Super Bowl, and they were the better team that day. Not on paper, but on will. So 50-50 to the voting is still coming in. I liking this poll. This is good. I don't don't have no problem with Scott Norwood. I was sad by it, of course, but to sit here and act like yeah, he'd be allowed in Bill's Mafia. He just didn't make the kick. That's all. Wasn't the destiny. Yeah, back in the day, but that's a long time ago now. Funny you mentioned the Colts, because yeah, they took Peyton Manning out and put him in AFC South. Funny you mentioned that. You definitely go back. That was a different era. I saw that. I saw that. That's because, yeah, because she changed her wig. If she had just been going after black folks, I don't think they'd have said nothing. I know they wouldn't have said nothing because she was getting paid to say the stuff that she could. It is. Well, they've been done with her. She ain't got that kind of money, and you know they're not gonna have her there. She decided to flip flop, and they're not gonna have her there. Yeah, the AFC East is a joke. The Bills got that division all locked up. All they got to do is sweep the Jets and sweep Miami. Even if they split New England or somebody, no one's gonna catch them. No one's catching them, and that can be good and that can be bad. I think in their case it's bad because no competition. I'm not gonna have any vulgarity in here, so you guys to go. You're not even gonna be allowed in here. So people want to curse and be disrespectful, they can take that somewhere else. See, there's things that I don't miss, and I do not like ignorance and disrespect coming here on a live forum. You got something to say, you can say. And if you can't intellectualize yourself with real words and conversation, I got no use for you. Well, every division goes through that. That's how it is in the AFC West. Actually, when New England was winning the AFC East, it was the same thing. You just didn't pay no attention. So the AFC East and the West is like that. Uh, the NFC West was starting to get like that with Frisco. Still might be. I don't know who's going to win it. I don't know. When you see parity, you see parity. The AFC got bad teams. NFC got parity. We don't know what Washington and Philly are really going to be about. We don't know what Atlanta is about. We don't know what's going to come out the AFC, NFC West. That's a good question. The last boxing match I was looking forward to, you're going to probably laugh when I say this because it's been years. Probably Floyd Mayweather and Pat Manny, Pacquiao. Probably. I don't really get excited about matches no more because boxing is not really jumping off like that. I think too often than not, the hype gets so much. So actually, you got to see how the guys. I want to say, what's it say? Not Triple A. Yeah, I wanted to say something like that, but it's hard to get excited. It really is because these guys are just. It's just not the same. No, he don't say that, Ted. That's not true. I call Cap on that. I'm calling Cap. As bad as Rodgers is, he ain't Daniel Jones. Because at least the Jets got 2 wins. I think you get excited when someone like who your 4 losses. I think you get excited when you see somebody that's undefeated and they're dominating. I do. Triple C was interesting. There have been some interesting fighters I've seen. He's not. I don't know. He can still throw touchdowns. Daniel Jones got 3 points last week. Okay, stop that one. Come on, man. And Daniel Jones, the The way they lost to Philly, at least Aaron Rodgers has a half where he looks like he belongs. They did lose at the end yesterday, and they were close in the Buffalo game. They were close at halftime against Pittsburgh. Daniel Jones been getting waxed. I don't quite not that bad. Daniel Jones is worse, but they neck and neck. They're not far off. I'll say that. Still think Daniel's worse, but it's not. It's sad when you put who are the four losses. Who are the four losses? I want to know. I'm gonna start Bart Starr, bench Aaron Rodgers, cut Brett Favre. But Bart Starr was very lethal as a quarterback. He got the job done. He did all right against the Bills. No, he hit that haymaker, that bomb. Daniel Jones is strong, yo. Daniel Jones, man. I mean, I mean, but let's just say you ain't, my favorite Packers players all time. Well, Rodgers, Favre, yeah, because he was reckless. He was talented, but he was reckless. You can't have that. You can't have that. He was exciting and gutsy, but then he turned the ball over a lot. No, why would I? Why I want to see a guy that's pushing 60 against a guy that's a guy that fights in a semi-pro like. But I mean, what is the purpose of it? Yeah, I mean, it's not even his age. It's just that it just seems like for all the reasons that have nothing to do with any integrity. He may as well be 70 because if you fight as long as he's been fighting, you're gonna feel like you've been in the ring for like 60 years. I mean, come on now. He's been doing it for so long. So if you include street fights and you know amateur fights, I mean, you may as well call it 60 pushing 70. I don't want to watch that mess. It should be, but George Foreman defied logic. Some fighters defy logic. It is a young man's sport in the sense that your duration is a peak in a window. Most of the best fighters are in their 20s to like 30, 32. That's like their prime window. Very few last into the twilight. It's not meant to. It's too physical, it's too demanding, it's too demeaning. Oh no, there's a guy named Barry Bonds. And I don't want to hear nothing about no steroids because he did dominate. There is also a guy named, and I'm not even a fan of his like that, but I got to give him his due. Novak Djokovic, the tennis great. He's still doing things. So there are others who are doing it at an advanced stage. I'm impressed. Yeah, so please. Djokovic could still win a championship. Hmm. There are still guys that can still do it. Um, yeah. Um, Accuracy is more important, Ted. Peyton Manning didn't have the strongest of arm, but he made it effective. Brady had a strong arm, but he had better trajectory. John Elway had a strong arm, but it wasn't until he got Terrell Davis that they win chips. See how this goes? So when you say that, like Josh Allen has a rocket arm, does that mean he wins? So let me address this, Jay Will. I respect LeBron James as one of the greatest players ever, but I have an issue with all the hype he gets. No, it wasn't. It was like accuracy. When he throw those fades, he wasn't. He didn't have an arm. He didn't have a Ben Roethlisberger arm. He ain't got no Jake Plummer arm. He ain't got no Josh Allen arm. But he was accurate. His arm wasn't like no one ever looked at his arm as being. like the second coming, but it was accuracy. He had a quick release. He had that Marino release, but he didn't have Marino's arm strength. But he was accurate. He pinpoint. Um, the Cowboys suck, so why would I be excited about them? I like Jenny Buss to look at. I don't like to. She don't know what she doing. She hoping that this works. It looks like it's gonna work, but I don't trust her antics. And there's some things about her rub me the wrong way. I don't like how they did Jerry West and how they tripped on Magic, and I don't like certain things I see. I respect LeBron for what he's accomplished, but I'm not on the LeBron Kool Aid. I think that when he retires, you're gonna hear people say how they had to tolerate him, and I think that his narcissism is tiring, and I don't think he's accomplished what he should. He should have about 8 rings right. He should be where Brady is. I think he's underachieved for all the hype and all the numbers. Yeah, I said it. That's why he'll never be the Tom Brady level. He underachieved with the talent and all he had around him, the way he ran the league. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you talked. Thank you, Ted. And let me address you. You were the one on the live stream the other night that talked about the Wildcat. They tried that on the fourth down and got caught cold. Remember, you brought that up the other day of them running the Wildcat and they got stuck cold. So thank you. The problem with them is that if teams can make them become a half field team and you have to utilize your components, will they have the same energy to think that thing through? That's the problem where Harbaugh runs into. Because if they can't run wild and throw down and make those incredible plays, and they gotta have nip and tuck games, oh yeah, they somebody listening. He had a problem with Phil, but it was also other factors involved. And gotta remember something, Jerry West was close to the players too. There's a lot of politics involved. Well, listen, you know it's more to it when he says he wish he had never been associated with the organization. So you tell me. That's pretty deeper than just that. You think they listening, Ted? If you think they listening, give me a one. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it's funny because you might not think that this place does a lot of streams or views or clicks or something, but you'd be surprised what travels. And I sense a touch on so many topics. He is, but he got treated like trash. Did you see the 44? You can barely see it. I remember the radar almost like witchcraft. Well, it's a wishbone. Wishbone. When I was a kid, J.C. Watts. Okay, well, thank you. I'm glad y'all say that. I don't know what that means in English, but thank you. Um, J.C. Watts in Oklahoma, when Barry Switzer was the coach back in the late 70s, they ran that option. They ran that wishbone. Charlie Ward. It's been black college football. The SWAC used to do it all the time. All the time. But white quarterbacks like Steve Young, Tim Tebow, and them got more credit for it. I'm just gonna keep it 100. What you're seeing ain't nothing new. That's why you had Bill Polian saying that. Uh, that's why Bill Polian was trying to say that Lamar should be a back and all that mess. I mean, a what if, but only if he was going to be something that would amount to being a great player. I don't know if he would have been great. Good to pretty good, yeah. Great, I don't know. But he's not in my top five what ifs of football. No. Mm-mm. I've seen way better what ifs. Yeah, that 44 patch is not that big. When you consider that man was the logo, all the faces and names that he brought to LA, and they just got him basically at a small eraser bit, that's a diss. I feel honored that y'all think that people have been checking this out, though. I appreciate it. think people will ever understand all the stuff he went through to appreciate that man. And one thing that I try to do when I do my streams and my videos, and if I'm talking basketball and we get into debates about greatest, I make a point of mentioning him at every chance I get. I detest the level of disregard for his impact. I take it personal, considering what he went through. He should have been more revered and respected. People got different criteria of what they consider great, but the object of the game is to win and impose your will. Ain't too many people done it more than Bill Russell. So not overrated, but no, I can't say the best safety ever because we got to mention other safeties. And what's your criteria for being the best safety ever? What era are we talking? See, when people say stuff, they got to back it up. Now you can say he belongs in the conversation, but when I compared to what other safeties are we talking about? He could hit, and he was a good talent, but we didn't get the peak of the prime of him. Well, yeah, and you read what Bill Russell said, it hit you to the core. Von Miller, come on now, come on. He was on that Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman tip, or wherever he went, he won. I mean, I like Derrick Brooks a lot, but come on now, that Broncos era of him, that era of him with the Rams, I mean, and even the Bills got a little bit of it. Why you think teams want to still deal with him and give him kind of deals? Reputation, yo. Even though I'm be honest with you, he's at the good stage of his career. He's not that same dude in Buffalo. He has some moments, but that dude is not coming back through that door. And I'm not talking about suspension. It's just that particular that he was something else. That's not coming back. And I liked him a lot. Don't get it twisted. But D Brooks was bad though. He makes you appreciate D Brooks too. But Von Miller, man, come on, he was bad. Yeah, and he got that lawsuit too with the girlfriend, and it hasn't really worked out in Buffalo. That's the part that I kind of sad about. But I'm not surprised or shocked. I mean, if you get a guy that's older and the circumstances is just not the same. So please continue to hit the like and the subscribe and the membership, and also take the poll. Still 50-50 with Iverson and Dwayne Wade. So thanks for all the people that have definitely taken that poll so far. Keep on hitting that like up too. On my defense around Reggie White. That's not even up for discussion. And I like Ray Lewis a lot, but no, it's Reggie White. Come on now. Preacher man all day. He was one of the toughest leaders I've ever seen. I'm going to start Sean Taylor, bench Brian Dawkins, and cut John Lynch. Yeah, I had to think about that for my own personal. Those are kind of odd choices that I get asked. Those are kind of odd. Calvin Johnson, because of one main factor, he actually played his career and he went out the right way. That's why I have. That's why I had Dawkins coming off. John Lynch could hit, but B Dawk was scary. Yeah, and this is the thing. I know AB got the ring, but AB wasted it away. Let me put it to you like this. I'm gonna say something. I did a video about it. If you watch my football video for week 8 on my YouTube channel, I talked about it. We've been talking about that for the whole within the hour. Okay, let me get back to Ted on this. If you know how I said if AD had Giannis's mindset, if AB had Calvin Johnson's mindset, he'd be top three ever as a receiver because AB had crazy skills. Calvin Johnson utilized what he had. Underrated. No overrated with Troy Polamalu because you couldn't do what he could do. He could disrupt you. You didn't know if it was his body or his hair that was getting ready to sack you. He was everywhere. I have not seen a guy who put his whole being on the line like that. No one played like Troy Polamalu. He was everywhere. He was just literally coming at you. That's why he could do a commercial with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Troy was bad. Troy was like he worked you. Yeah, but he was it was like a window with Culpepper. I wasn't blown away, but he was good for his window. Um, I'm going with Troy because of how he worked you. But Ron Woodson was bad though. Woodson had crazy speed and he was talented and technical. But Troy was like a pest, yo. You know, Hines Ward was one of the most underrated offensive guys that could just do a lot of things. Hines was tough. He was tough. But yeah, and that's tough too because I like Rod Woodson a lot. But Troy Polamalu, come on now, that guy. I'm surprised they didn't drug test him because his energy was on another level. I mean, he jumped routes. He was so, you know, Marvin Harrison. He got the ring, and he was more low key, and he beat you. I like Fitzgerald the way he played, and I probably pick him on personal, but Harrison, I had to give Harrison the edge. Harrison was, I mean, it was like compact. Yeah, Baldwin was. Marvin Harrison Jr. looks pretty good too for the Cardinals. I watched him, but I have to give Harrison. Yeah, but Fitzgerald was bad though. If Fitzgerald's problem is he played in the wrong team, and a lot of years were squandered because he played with a team that was a contender, we'd probably hold him higher. But Marvin Harrison was a bad dude. Yeah, they bad in different ways. Nobody on that Colt team was better as the main number one than Marvin. And you know, when Peyton had his, you know. Mm-hmm. Okay, McNabb, and I'm gonna tell you why. Cunningham was more talented, but McNabb got the job done. If I'm gonna say this again, I'm gonna sound like a James Brown broken record. I'm gonna say this again. If Cunningham had McNabb's mental poise, we're talking about one of the five greatest quarterbacks ever. Athleticism was off the chain. But see, this is what people got to understand about talent. Just because you talented and you got skill set does not make you better. It's like the AD argument against Giannis. If he had Giannis's mindset, we talking about top three right now in the league. And then we're talking about pop 12 to 17 greatest player ever. Then we don't debate him as a top 75. He doesn't have the mindset. There's the difference. McNabb did not have Cunningham's talent by no stretch, but he had the mindset where he worked in this capacity. Cunningham just kind of was reckless, showy, talented, but you know, I've seen a lot of cats like that, and that's what separates them because they know they got the goods, but they don't deliver it in totality. Told you before, it's like a music artist. You give me somebody like Beyonce or Usher, but they don't have the songs to match the hype. You know, you got the performance, you got that it, you're missing that thing. No, it didn't. The problem with McNabb is that he was not psychological. It wasn't fine tuned in that game. They were in the game against New England, and you got to remember something. To was on one leg, busting New England's behind the secondary. I don't think you saw it right. I watched that game. If they win that game, he's the MVP of that Super Bowl. That should tell you how good that man was. That he could miss 2 games, which was the equivalent to a month, and still come back in the Super Bowl and be effective on one leg. How was that hurting him? Donovan was the one that was in the huddle throwing up and gagging and gasping, and they came up short. Okay, that's too tough to say, Ted. All my favorite, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, all my favorite Monday Night Football games were back in the day, though. If I'm being honest, the old games, the Monday night games ain't been worth watching since. I like that Jets Miami game that was like 20 some years ago. Vinny Testaverde, that one. There've been a few. There've been a few. I still remember your Brett Favre game when he lost his Favre and he went out his mind that game against the Raiders. He lit their butt up. Um, but most of my favorite ones are back in the day. Back in the day. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. That's a hot take right there. You want to talk about a hot take? That's a hot one. I like Megatron, but I can't take him over no T.O. I can't. T.O. could do everything he could do, and he did it with a variation of quarterbacks. But that's a hot take. Yeah, that's a hot take. That's a hot one right there. We both saying the same thing on that one. McNair, Romo, Garcia are not better than Stafford, so stop that one. Steve Young, he got the ring. He got better. Stafford got a ring, yo. Stafford's been legit. Stafford got stats too. McNabb's not better than Stafford. Romo's not better than him, and Garcia sure as heck ain't. Garcia's a tier below. Uh, that's why I got to shut it down right there. Garcia was like a medium second tier. He's not. It's no. Steve Young and Stafford, you could make some kind of comparison. Steve Young had more to work with, but no, they're not on that level. To didn't have no fabulous teams. When he was in Cincinnati, they weren't fabulous. When he was in Buffalo, they weren't fabulous. What you talking about? When he was in Dallas, they weren't fabulous. Bill Parcells had a mediocre team. What do you mean? Steve Mariucci, the 49ers beat Green Bay, but they weren't a great team. It wasn't until he got to Philadelphia. Yeah, he probably could have. Yeah. No, Stafford was better than McNabb. They beat nobodies in those playoff games, yo. Mariucci was a better than average head coach, but he didn't do nothing in Detroit, so I don't sit around holding him high. And how many playoff wins does Romo have, my friend? What about Tampa? They weren't that good back then. Oh yeah, when they won that playoff game, Tampa Bay didn't have no offense. That would be good for Washington. He goes somewhere that's a contender. They would ship him all the way across the East, though. That would make sense. How many playoff wins Romo got? How many playoff wins Stafford got? Stafford is a better quarterback. He went further with his situation. That's a tough one. Um, that's a tough take. I guess we got to say only Brady because he did it in Tampa Bay, and he took on. No one's talking about the Cowboys, please. When I conclude here, I gotta go watch First Take and see what they talked about. But no one's talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are done. Okay, let's not even. You gotta win a game. We can have a discussion. I don't know what the cheese question means, so you have to explain that. That could be a troll. I don't know what that means. The only move the Cowboys can make is get rid of Meathead as their coach and Jerry Jones to put him in the old folks' home. That's about it. And go get you a running back. But to make common sense and logic, I will watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'll see what they're talking about. Tell me your favorite segments of it. I know that the Dallas part, but I'm not really getting excited about that. See, the Cowboys losing is starting to get kind of like numb now because we know they're not going to do nothing. I just want to see Meathead get fired. That's all I'm thinking. He going to get fired, and then Jerry Jones going to have to like admit he got egg on his face, and that this season is a wash. When they lose to Washington, then I'll get excited. When they lose to Philly, I'll get real excited. Get them 6, 7 losses, then I don't have to hear no more talk about the Cowboys the rest of the season. But I didn't think the wheels were gonna fall apart. Well, there's nothing they can say about KC because KC wins. You may not like it, but they are the team. The Jets part. Why are they talking about a what? First of all, you want to go back to the scene of the crime. Aaron Rodgers stole money. Robert Solo tried to give him a hug. No did he. He tried to give him a hug. And then all he got for giving him a hug was a pushback. Yeah, okay. I don't know what they're gonna talk about the Jets for. That's a waste of time. Please keep on hitting the likes and the subscribes. We're definitely getting more views and everything. I appreciate everybody coming through. It's definitely on fire tonight. Yeah, I mean, talking about the Jets. Listen, one of the greatest talented arms I've ever seen, but also one of the most overrated quarterbacks ever. He's cocky, he's arrogant, and I guess they like his moxie. But like Janet Jackson said, what has he done lately? That bad man. That bad man got one Super Bowl and one Super Bowl appearance. That bad man. John Elway went to 5 Super Bowls. That was a bad man. I can't get excited about an overrated cat like Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, I can't. He's washed. He took the Jets hostage and they suck. I know for the what does it mean right now though? What does it mean? And we don't really want to talk about cats getting multiple MVPs and they only got one Super Bowl appearance or one Super Bowl ring. That don't really quite connect. Let me give you an example. I'll do one better. Look at Peyton Manning, 2 Super Bowl wins and 5 MVPs. But because of his postseason, he ain't heralded by a lot of people in that upper echelons of great quarterbacks per se, because his postseason sucked. This is what Aaron Rodgers is facing. So sometimes those MVPs don't really carry where it doesn't, because your postseason doesn't really matter. It's not happening. Yes, what makes you ask? It wasn't some place that I wanted to like necessarily kick it in, but I was there. What about it? And it was way back in the day too. Yeah, they got like ish. It's not the kind of place you want to be caught. if you're talking sundown in terms of like the good old boy, if you're talking about like that from that perspective, I have. You gotta remember, I used to live in Texas and I lived in Tennessee and Missouri too. So what you want to know? I mean, you knew where not to go. They ran differently by the accent, but it's the same thing. I could say that about New York City or Jersey. I grew up there in Buffalo. Buffalo would be considered sundown too, in an extent, because it was a very segregated place. Let me just enlighten people who are listening or want to know. I grew up. You call it sundown, sun up, sun. Yeah, you do. People get this romanticism if you're on the East Coast that they don't have Billy Bob Central. They do. Even in the certain segments where they have different cultures, they have Billy Bob. You know when you're there because you get this gaze on you like the sun that just landed on your neck, and you don't know why you feel this strange aura. So I know exactly what you're talking about. People who don't know, yep, Billy Bob and Bobby Sue. Ken Folks, who doubles up as the what does he double up as? The warden, the grave digger, the mayor, the ice cream driver, the bus driver, the local the cut your grade, all of it. And then you're in my county, you're gonna do it. I had it happen. I've dealt with that. And actually it happened in a big city. It happened when I was in Houston too. I'll tell you a story. This happened back in 1986. I was a teenager. I was in Houston, Texas. I was at the mall, North Line. It's on the north side. Anyway, I wanted to get my hair cut before I went back because I was going back to Virginia in the summer. I put my foot at this barber shop. The white dude says to me, "We don't do your hair here." Said that to me before I hit the door. This was in 86. That's what was greeted to me. So I know. I'm not laughing at you, Jay Will, but that's pretty hilarious. They all been racist. Oh yeah, yeah. I had a fro, and so I ended up finding I did get my hair cut back in the neighborhood. But yeah, they used to be fearful of black hair, barbershop. But yeah, I had that. Yeah, I put my foot in that door, and that dude said, "We don't do your hair here." I still remember that. You don't forget stuff like that. So when you say sundown, suntown, I experienced some stuff in big places, small places, in between places. I can't call none of them non-racist or the most non because they've all had political agendas. See, when I talk about racism in America, what I've been through, it's not always the stuff where they, burning stuff or this. It's the subtlety in school, in school, school. Because I was a student growing up, things I saw, it wasn't always. It's not the way. It's the subtle ones that's just as worse. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, because the South keeps it real. Mhm. If you're in the South, so if you were dating a white girl in the South, for instance, at that time, you might get some eyes on both of y'all. You felt it. In the Northeast, it's real cool based on where you are, but you get those code words. It's just like those things that you just know without even because you know how it is. It's like low key. It's in the South. It's similar to the South, but it's done in a more, shall we say, regal kind of way. They got ways of kind of being where you just kind of know. They do. Well, sports has always been that way. That's nothing new. What you think Jackie Robinson went through? Let me tell you about Cali, right? It's got the racist penitentiary system. They divided there. Yeah. Oh, they do it anywhere you go. But Cali is very divided. That's why they keep the. Do you know they used to bring the most racist cops from Texas to police out in Cali? They did that on purpose. So they've been doing stuff. What game was good yesterday? What's a good game, JB? When you say a good game yesterday, I don't know what that means. They've done that on purpose. Territorial turf. That was done on purpose. And then, of course, with the voting and everything, that takes on a political climate too. Because you just saw that whole thing with that mayor and that stuff. Oh, well, they did what they supposed to do. They beat a team they're supposed to. I mean, you're supposed to wax a team poetically. That's not on your, they did what they're supposed to do. But thank you though, but they did. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Afraid to say they gonna push for Trump, but Kamala could beat him if people, if it's based on. See, this is the thing. If it's based on uh, business, they pick Kamala. If they base it on emotion, they gonna pick Trump. That's how I go. To me, it's pretty evenly matched. It's a sad state. Yep. Everything you saying, Ted, is accurate. I mean, if you've gone anywhere in places, see, well, I'm gonna tell some people this. You don't go looking for stuff, but people have a way of letting you know you're not wanted. You can tell. If you know how to read a room. If you know how to read a room, you know. People who don't know how to read a room never get what you're saying. They'll be like, well, I didn't see that. I didn't understand it because you got to spell it out to them. You got to spell out nothing to me. I seen it for what it is. Iverson now has the lead. It's 52-48, worst statue. Wow. I didn't, okay. Got some more votes came in because it's too ethnic. Her name alone is ethnic. That scares folks. For all the people that's got an issue with her claiming a drop or two in her bloodline or what have you, just her name alone is not traditional. And that's scary to them right there. And I will say this because I can. Nobody would claim something when it has never been acknowledged or claimed. So what I'm saying is if you're gonna claim and say that you're black in a country that has openly been racist and so on and so forth, you can't possibly go through that process and wanting to, knowing that you don't stand a chance in the reality. Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Snoop, Jay-Z. So do you consider them out of touch and corny black folk because they do business with him? They've done music with him. And I have to ask this because, well, you got to remember something. Well, that's business. And Obama's not out of touch in this regard. He is what, a middle-aged black man, and Eminem was popular when he was presidency, and Eminem was the biggest rapper, and he happened to be white, and you had the first black president. That is kind of like Tiger Woods and what else could I make a comparison? I got to try to make a comparison. My point is, it makes logical sense from that. If I'm using that demographic from that concept, um, Obama could probably get Kendrick Lamar. Kamala got Beyonce. I mean, but what does it matter? I don't really care about entertainers messing with. That's not gonna make me sway. Yeah, I agree with you. But you see, they're not going for it. They're doing it in the vicarious. This is like cosmetics. cosmetic voting. They want him to appeal to them middle class, if you know what I'm getting at. This ain't about who you think it's about. I seen a better picture of Kelly Rowland recently. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I understand the dynamics of the cosmetics of Obama and Eminem. I understand the cosmetics. They also don't tell you that was it Royce 5.9. You heard Royce 5.9 because Jaguar Wright was talking about Royce. Royce was the ghostwriter behind Eminem's early stuff. Royce 5.59. He never got his due, but that's another story, another video. I ain't got the time to go into all that though. But Royce was in that whole thing. Yep. Oh, I know this stuff. I just be sitting on it like so. Sometimes I guess I play dumb or do I just kind of hold back? I only do this live though. I only do this live because we had these kind of conversations. But it doesn't come on my regular videos. And see, I turn a lot of people off when I talk real talk. So that's why I'm proud of you being here. Let me give you a shout out to you. Appreciate you. Cause see, I don't get to do this in my regular videos. Cause people are like, oh, you just picking on him. Oh, you just got off your lawn. But I point out facts. I know about him, but I understand about window dressing. Of course he was there. Of course he was there. And I'm not trying to say nothing about his orientation or anything like that, but he's been in drag in some of his videos. He's done a whole lot of stuff and a lot of, oh, they are. They are. Because I can't have conversations about without that. That's what Melly Mel was trying to do. Except Melly Mel came up with an old 1983 beat to try to diss him and it backfired. But oh, of course he did. Of course he did. And you can't talk about people when you're in an industry that's full of the same thing. Dr. Dre is no choir boy. It's just that he ain't ticked off the wrong people. They are worse because they came after me. I will tell you, I lost a couple of people because I did videos where I was not feeling him, and they were like, "Well, I'm going to stop subscribing to you, and you're a meanie." So I lost some people because I spoke out about that I wasn't feeling him, and they took it personal. So I just said, "Well, whatever. I can't change you. I'm not gonna try to change you." Oh yeah, I've been through it. I've had to deal with them. I understand the novelty of it. Oh, they do. They're like Mary J. Blige fans and Beyonce fans. You know, if you deal with some of these people, like, well, I love people that are passionate about the music. I get it, cause I'm like that too about artists that I champion. But at the same time, I'm like, get a life though, really get a life. But I'm different with hip hop. I'm more like Lord Jamar about him because I'm sorry, Nas would wipe circles around him, and I know this, and they know it too. If we going by aesthetics and wordplay, we know it ain't even close. We know that he be the first to tell you. Post Malone might think he's a rapper, but anyway, no, they would not do that. The funny thing about it was, oh, well, rock stations, Run DMC came close. Run DMC came close because they had some cuts early on. I don't know if he always has. I'm not gonna say he always has. He had to do business with him, so I don't know how much he would hate him. If he hate him so much while he's at the parties, he may not like what he was about. But then again, they know a lot of the same things. So let me tell you something. I don't like it when people get in these political wars talking about, yeah, he showed him. What did he show him? He was in an industry that supported him. Eminem can't talk about nobody because Eminem got caught on his own ways, and that's why he had to stand on stage with Elton John. Are you gonna sit there and say some stuff when I saw what Eminem got called out and had to and got that Oscar? Do you not understand what they try to do to manipulate the mind? He got an Oscar. Now you might say And Eminem, yeah, and I don't know what his orientation is, but I'm gonna tell you something. That doesn't make him starburst. But what it does is that he does whatever he got to do for an agenda. Okay, I don't know what it. But my point about him was this: he uh, is in a circle where he's allowed to be in a circle to talk like he's roasting people, but it don't work that way with everybody. I took exception when he dissed Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson took it real personal. Because what did Michael Jackson do? What did Michael Jackson do? Michael Jackson went and bought his catalog up, bought his songs. I remember Michael Jackson came on Geraldo Revere and he said, "Mr. Eminem, I would never be so mean to you. I didn't understand what you did." And the next thing I know, Michael went out there and bought his songs. Look it up, 20 years ago, while he was going through his court situation. Now I was in a blowout. Are you kidding me? Please. I wish, or I wish. You don't know how much I wish for that one. Because if he ate up Jay Z for Ether, oh, I wish. I wish. See, I knew M was like, I'm a battle rapper. I said, yeah, you ain't gonna never say that to no Nas, though. There's some people he would never step to. Never. He never would have been able to hang with Prime Ice Cube. He never would have been able to hang with Prime Scarface. Nas. There's some people that would have crushed him. Cheryl did. He wouldn't have been able to hang with Andre Three Stacks. I already know. I know. He went out to Chris Kirkpatrick and NSYNC and Tim all that pop stuff, which was that was cool, cute, fuddy duddy. He ain't go after nobody that could put some stuff. Cause we had a guy named Chino XL who was Eminem before Eminem, but he never got that kind of hype. But Chino was like that, pretty much. Shoot, cats like Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs would wax him, and so would Twister, please. Cause Twister could spit them crazy flows. But see, the business ain't all about your skill set. It ain't all about what you. It's a different thing. I'm not. I'm gonna tell you like this. M can spit. I'm gonna give him that, and he got some funny lines. But as far as his production is corny, Twister could spit. You ain't never seen another one like this. You ain't never been like that. You gonna sit. Have you heard Twister? Twister can tongue tied. Twister from Chicago, overnight celebrity. Remember with him, Jimmy Fox and Cotton. Twister was bad. ODB was underrated. Any of them cats would, if they like, if Method really put his mind to it, yeah, those cats, yeah. Peak and Prime Ice Cube, Jerry Curl Era Cube, yeah, yeah, easily. Scarface too, back then. I'm just saying, but he came around an era where he did hold his own. I mean, he got he Dre and him were successful and all that, but no. But I know what you're saying. I know. I know why this thing with Obama. I get it. I get it. I understand the political. Once you understand what, it's not always. But your boys out of Cleveland, Bone Thugs, any of them would tear him up. But that's not what's up. This is a different situation. Oh, would he? Would he? And see, the thing about Pac, he talked trash about you in your face, around your face, to the side of your face, fly helicopter to about, where you at, Eminem? I'm coming to Detroit. I'm where to begin. I'm gonna flow all over you. I will to destroy. I'm gonna treat you like a leftover step toy. Yeah, he was. Are you kidding? Talk about Clown City. And see, the thing about Pac, it wasn't so much that he was the baddest wordplay cat, but he hit them words with so much emotion and feeling that it just hits you like a combination. You know, he hit you with a combination. Different era though. Biggie would get him too. Biggie had funny lines and would wax your behind. Funny lines and wax your behind, and do it in a cold way. Cause he had versatility too. Again, people don't care about that no more. Though. They don't care about that no more. But yeah, there are cats that I know. But anyway, that whole thing with him and Obama's political show, I understand it. I get it. I get it. Except I don't know if it's gonna really mean, but it makes sense because again, Eminem is corporate America. He's been a successful product, and him and Kid Rock were cool, but they on the opposite ends of the political fence. So just saying. But we got into a good topic there though. Some people gonna come along there. How he cook her because he can cook himself. He's he's an interesting cat. He didn't flip flop for what he used to be. He used to couldn't stand Trump. See, I don't really take JD Vance much attention. He was very articulate with the VP for Kamala though when they did their debate. I'll tell you like this, and I'm gonna say this the best way I know how. If you're a Trump supporter or whatever supporter you are, you better be lucky Michelle Obama ain't in there. She would have waxed him and it'd have been over. I know that. But JD's an actor too because he couldn't stand Trump. Why you think I forgot? He talked about him like a dog. But JD wants that money. JD trying to get that clout. So, you know, JD trying to get that clout. I don't like touching none because like I told you before, they all bought and paid for. You gonna see some stuff go down because they want stuff to go down. Ain't nothing there. I look at all these parties like Diddy parties, and they're not for me, and I'm not invited. I don't want none of them. I told you, give me reparations. I'm gonna sit on my couch. I got nothing to say about none of them. Nothing good, because there's a bunch of acting that goes on, and it's like one and the same to me. I already did, because I done some quotes from it. I talked a video about him saying about the lack of fundamentals with the players. I did the thing about the Magic Johnson video with Bird. I used those two as videos. If you saw, I did that. I remember when him and Alonzo Mourning. Oh, that thing with Van Gundy with his bald head hanging onto the leg was hilarious. I remember the 4 point play. Um, Before you were born, the UNL that UNLV team was like they were pre Michigan. They was beating the pants off of Duke. Oh man, that was some fun ball. He did. Him and Alonzo weren't trying to connect though. They were just throwing fists. They weren't connecting though. But the UNLV team, oh man, when they lost to Duke the next year, I was sad. That's how Krzyzewski turned his whole fate around, and then he started winning chips because they won after that. They won after that, and I was sad too. Shark was a trip. Shark was funny as all get out. He sucked in the NBA though. They tried with the Spurs. He tried, but he was yeah, and they got them for sanctions. Those guys was partying back then. They did everything that Rick Pitino gets a pass for. Everything. You in Vegas. And that's back when you in Vegas, you stay in Vegas. So yeah, it was crazy back then. That was a different time of college basketball, like I said before. He had a chance because he had the commercials. He was doing that whole thing before Martin and Eddie, the grandmama and all that. But it's what we call the straight up and down version of it, not the Tyler Perry, not the. But he was doing all that. As a matter of fact, he could have probably sued Tyler Perry. It was kind of big for a moment. not bad for a cat that was playing in Charlotte too. He was good. Yeah, when I think about cats like him and Baron Davis, they come to mind. Those are the guys that are kind of like unsung that had they don't get hurt or be in the right circumstances, we look out different. If they're in their peak in their prime, if they're in their peak in their prime, well, I'm probably gonna say Michael Jackson. I seen it and I would say recommend that again, peak and prime, because that guy was a standard. I never seen anything like him on stage where people just it was unreal. I've been to concerts. I probably could score on him. That's not exactly surprising. They played that game against the Bulls and he was shooting and busting it outside. That shouldn't exactly be a shock. You gotta remember something. Guys can get shots off. They're not gonna lock you down, especially if you got good release, good form. But playing in 10 is another story. Getting 2 buckets off them is one thing. Try doing that where you get 8 more buckets and then let me know. Different era. That sounds like Jordan. That's what I loved about Jordan. He wanted to beat you at all costs. That's what I miss. That's why people can't compare this era to that era. There is nobody like that. Nobody. None of these guys out here are like that. They get a little bit of success and a little smell, and they're like, oh, in the daisies. Everybody want to be go along, get along, friendly, friendly, friendly. I had hopes that Giannis was gonna be like that, but Giannis didn't go on soft. That's right. He ain't forget nothing. Brady was like that too, and I sensed that with Patrick Mahomes too. I sensed that. We keep waiting for him to lose a game, and he still does something that you ain't seen. He'll run by you. He'll flip the ball, finds ways to beat you, and you're like, they're not that good. And then they're 7-0. Those are the ones who take it personal. Those are the ones that are in the lab and they don't forget nothing. Kobe was like that too. You know how they are. Tim Duncan was like that too. I still remember when Duncan them lost, and then he came back 2014. He said, "We'll see you in the final." He said that. He never really said nothing. Larry Bird was like, "I know the ones that were like that." Jordan didn't forget Jack. Bust that butt up. And when you don't have it like that, you think everybody's been all kumbaya. But what happened was, you remember last year when Justin Tucker got in the way when they were down the other end of the field, and they asked him to move and he wouldn't. Took it personal. He just knows how to psychologically structure himself. He probably took it personal about Joe Burrows, that whole that Burrows was the better quarterback, he was the better player mess. He probably took that personal. He took a lot of it personal. You know, and that's the guys that there's always that one. There's always that one. I tell him everything. It's not that the era is necessarily watered down, because there's always that one dude. He gonna own the era. He gonna beat you. It's like when I watch tennis. I can't stand Djokovic, but Djokovic, that dude takes it personal. That's why he's still playing and competing for Wimbledon at 30, pushing 40. That dude takes it personal. You can tell. You can always tell. There's that one. There's always one. There's always one that gets it. They're not part of the go along, get along game. They're not trying to, be all, let's be friends, let's be cool. No. So, I'm just gonna keep it 100 on that. So, no, they already know that they can't beat him. You don't have to laugh. That the Lamar and Josh haven't been to one Super Bowl. So, yep. And see cats start bragging about it. Different era though. Different era. Different era. Yeah. You can tell when cats take it serious. Oh, he did because he Bird was cold. He told a team, he said, "You better not stick a white player to defend me. You're disrespecting me." He would actually tell that to the other team. Bird was like the coldest one ever. And so let me tell you, he's embraced in white world, but he ain't given all of it in the world because he embraced the. He was one of those cats. He didn't want no privilege. Not on the court, he didn't. He bust your behind too. Bird was bad, man. And I say I ain't got no problem with people holding Bird up because he was that good. He was that good. But he wasn't one of those kind of people that was holding on to things too. He knew he was good. I remember. I remember when he ran down the field in that game because he threw that bomb and he ran all the way into his face. And I was like, whoa. And I know when John Anthony Smith went to the sideline, Mike Tomlin's like, Brady was a fiery dude, man. Of course, he took it personal. He took it personal because he was the 199th pick and he wanted everybody to know, you know. Yeah. There are guys like that. Hmm. There are guys who take that thing and they run that thing. I believe they do. I remember Arthur Ashe took it personal about Wimbledon when he beat Jimmy Connors. Waxed that behind. I remember. Remember when I was a young boy, but I watched the highlights, but I remember what he went through. Serena did too. Serena had to hear Martina Hingis and them pop off. She hit that racket, hit them aces, tore her behind up. Tore her behind up. That's why, they were scared of Serena, yo. Please. Tell you. Hmm. Tiger had to hear that mess from Sergio Garcia too. Tore his behind up. He did, but it wasn't the same. Only if he had gone to the Super Bowl and won. And because he couldn't get there again, that would have made it justice. It would have been justice. Yeah, he did like they butt up. And when he became a goal line jumper, that was sickening because he was just getting them touchdowns. And I believe if he hadn't lost about 3 or 4 years of his career, his stats would have been even better. Been interesting how it would have all played out. So, so yeah, it was a great, like I said, there's a lot to take into that. But anyway, we veered off we was talking about Eminem and all that. But yeah, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. But that's how they do. They take something and it gets, you know, turned into something else. Yeah, I remember Favre in Green Bay, but it wasn't really the same though. I mean, you know, again, you're gonna usually see guys have to come back to a place, and it's a bittersweet situation because sometimes people, they don't leave it the right way. Thank you for them likes. Continue, please. I appreciate that. The more likes, the better. That is great to see because I'm probably coming down later this week again. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, when he was with Minnesota. Hmm. It probably won't be because it's not the same era no more. Guys don't play like that no more. He earned well. I will give him this. He overcompensated because he wasn't what we call a naturally gifted quarterback. So he played and made it count. I will give him that. He worked beyond his means. He definitely worked beyond his means of skills. I will give him that. I don't think nobody's gonna ever say that looking at that. So yeah, they better do it tonight. They better bring it. They lose, go down 3-0. It's a wrap. They got to win all the games in New York, and they got to beat them their way. They can't beat them the Dodger way. They got to beat them the New York way. It's gonna be a tough series. I told people it was gonna be a tough series. Would have been nice to finish them off in 4 or 5, but had a chance too. I'm not done with him. He's just not used to this stage. That's all. He could still turn it on. He's just not used to this stage. Some cats ain't used to playing on this level. His is his first time. Well, this is first. He did okay in the playoffs. He was okay. He was okay. He never been to a World Series before. I don't know if he's cut off for the magnitude of New York though in the postseason. That's a whole different animal. Because you can have MVPs and stats, but if you don't bring the chip back, people hold that against you more than anything. So we'll see. We shall see. Anybody want to donate? Want to sign a membership? Uh, keep hitting the subscriptions and the likes. By all means, I welcome it. Allen Iverson 55, Wade 45. Wow, percentages in. No, they don't need cork bats. They just need to get on base. It's not the kind of series that you got to hit 3-run home runs. You got to use your base runners. You just got to score runs. You got to keep them working. And if you can get runs nickel and dime, that's how you beat the Dodgers. You're not gonna outbat them, but you can beat them by, you know, squeeze plays, common sense plays. That's what's gonna be the key. Keep your base runners, make sure you score. But they're playing so far. They've played not to lose. That's been the problem. Okay, that's nice. I knew when Ice Cube performed the other night, I was like, oh boy, that's momentum right there. That was momentum. I could feel that. The problem is that they played not to lose. Yeah, well, Boone making some choices and decisions, Boone. But again, you got to understand that you have to finish this team up. Should have stole game 1, and game 2 was close. But you can't give up home runs to this team. So we shall see. We shall see. He is, because if he gets going, he hasn't even really, he can beat you in different ways. Truth is, he's the best player the Yankees don't have. He would be scary with the Yankees. Why they didn't try to go after him? I mean, they need that kind of player with Soto, with Stanton and Judge. That's the kind of player they need on the leadoff role. He's exactly what they need. Yeah, because he can beat you in different ways. And he's got that flair for the dramatics, too. Dodgers are, like I said before, sure would have. And those are the kind of guys. That's why the Dodgers. That's why I said if they win this year, Dave Roberts got a chance to make a run. He's not over McHale. McHale was a six man who became a starter, who became one of the 50 greatest players ever. 80's always been in starting position, but he doesn't elevate himself to being better. He has to take command of the team. He has to demand it. Well, you just missed George because he would have fired everybody. Um, he can do it, but he has to do it in the next 2, 3 years. His time is running out. AD ain't no spring chicken. He been in the league 12 years, so it's gonna be like one of them now and nevers that you take over, and this is as good as it's gonna get for him. McHale used his weaponry with his hands so well. He can't be as strict as his dad because baseball ain't as predictable as it was. When people say you bought stuff, have you seen the different teams that have won the World Series since the last time the Yankees did? The Dodgers have won, the Astros won twice, the Cardinals, the Giants, Texas, Boston. Think about the different teams that have won Kansas City. So if they win tonight, they probably will. But anyway, let me get back to this about AD. If he demands and commands to his talent and his strength, he can. But he has to play to his absolute highest power. That can't be like a 7 footer trapped in a 6 foot body mindset. He has to play like that. Nah, he wasn't. He was upset by it because it hit him out the blind side. But no, but he had a strong team. They just lost to a team of destiny. That Boston team was just destiny. I mean, Ortiz was something else, and Pedro. Dave Roberts was the turning point in that series. This is what's messing with my head. He stole second base in Game 4, if you remember. That was a turning point in that series. That stolen base changed that series, and it was Dave Roberts. I don't forget. I don't forget. I ain't forgot in case you remember. That stolen base was the one that got them guys going. I thought it was gonna be over for them too, you know. But again, Boston was destiny then. Ain't no win a few World Series, so I can't stand them, but I can't knock them. They had a heck of a squad, and Big Poppy came up huge. Ortiz was huge, so we couldn't beat them. But anyway, yeah, if AD plays to his talents and his strength, he got a chance to be in that argument. He should be. Before you think I'm hating, let me say this. If we go by talent level, he should be. He should be a 2.0 version of Tim Duncan. Inside out scoring, defense ability, run, athleticism. But he's always sometimes he gets into the moments where he is not consistent. And he defers to LeBron and he doesn't play up to his level. So that's the problem I've had with AD. It's not because I'm hating, it's stating. I'm stating. I'm not hating, I'm stating. Cat don't want to be the man, so he tends to downplay his skill set. And he's never been forced to do that. Being a better pure scorer doesn't make you a better pure player, though. That's the difference. See, you can sit here and give me caveats and take a bite here and try to justify it. He'll never be better than Tim Duncan. Yeah, he can score better, but he can't beat you better than Duncan. Duncan dominated. I see Jokic do the same thing to AD. That's why I know AD would never stand a chance against Tim Duncan. And Tim Duncan was more skilled in the post and the paint and out than Jokic. But Jokic be waxing AD poetically. Just like Sabonis does with Sacramento. You think I didn't see that the other night? And puts triple doubles on him and waxes him. AD does not dominate nobody. He's a trade off. And when he looks good against a Rudy Gobert or somebody, he beats up on the front line. You put some wood on him and you stifle him, and it's just a wash. That's what separates him from some of those guys. In the low post, he is. Top of the key, Jokic has got him beat because Jokic is a better passer because he fronts on the top of the perimeter. But if I'm in the perimeter, like if I'm in the baseline, Duncan got him beat. Because Jokic does not, he doesn't carry the glass like, yeah, low post, he can't mess Duncan. Low post, he can't mess with Elijah one. Because Elijah one could do all that too. Top of the key is different. Jokic is like, well, in that territory, LeBron territory, he can do that. But he can't compartmentalize like Duncan could get you. Duncan put your butt to sleep and get them boards and beat you up. So low post does matter. But you see, Jokic doesn't have to do low post in this era because this era doesn't really allow itself to be low post. So it's a lost art. When I can compartmentalize areas, I can talk about some totality. And cats be like, oh, I didn't really think of it like that. It's kind of like if a receiver catches the ball, like how Kelsey catches the ball, like he's centralizing himself when Mahomes throws it to him. Gronk used to do that. You use your girth and your body, and you're projecting it. So you're like a low post center. That's a technique. That's what made Duncan so deadly. He tear you up in there, and then he take you out and hit them outside shots on you. He was more fluid than Jokic is. Joker's got crazy skill set because he can pass and he can contort himself to shooting off angles and stuff like that. But Duncan was more fluid with his flow. He's underrated, underappreciated in terms of that technical aspect. That's why no one ever gives Duncan his due because it wasn't style, but if you looked at it, it was a very unique style. Anyway, well, it looks like everybody done pretty much called it, gone down right by now. We've been on for like three. I'm gonna call it a night. The poll, Iverson won it 55-45 or D Wade. So there you go. Appreciate everybody coming through tonight. Appreciate all the commentary, the views, the clicks. Didn't really care for the trolls, but that comes with the territory. But anyway, I will be back another time. Because Bill Walton was a physical presence in the box. That's why. Kareem tried to take him out and would use his hook and put his shoulders into it. Walton would get physical. Walton was a physical force. Well, you know, if you had those practices with Maurice Lucas, you're not just, you have to box. And Walton was very physical. And you had to play Moses a certain way. Because Moses wasn't a pure outside shooter. And Moses was getting boards and putbacks and was demanding and pushing and getting at you. Walton could get physical. Kareem wasn't a physical center. He was very, but he was tough enough, but it was a finesse, but he was tough. Yeah, Bill Walton was bad. He could pass. He was like Jokic of his day. Hmm. He could run that floor, and he had a nice touch. He was very fluid cat. It's just that, like I said before, them injuries got the best of him, and then that tied his career. But make no mistake, Bill Walton was the truth. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate everybody came through. Appreciate all the commentary, conversation, and thanks for all the likes and the views and everything. Let's keep doing this again. I'll be back sometime later in the week. So we'll run it up again. We'll see how baseball looks, how basketball looks, how football looking. We'll talk about it again. And we touched on a lot of different topics. So appreciate everybody coming through. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay well. check out my videos because if you watch the video, some of the stuff I talk about in here is in video form. I have given commentary on stuff.